Is Britney Spears cloned? Is Kyrie really free? What are some of his options? We have celebrity wealth expert DerrialChriston joining us, and much more. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome to this weekly review. What up, y'all, and welcome back. Look, we got 2 episodes in a whole week. Okay. Happy birthday to Nicki Minaj. And you already know we got Courtney Stewart in the building.
Hey. And Nicki Minaj, for the record, all of y'all mofos out there talking about fat and 40 are shady as F for doing that to her on Twitter just today.
Oh. Is that what's happening? I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, it was trending, honey, last night and all day, talking about fat and 40 and something else and 40. And they were just dragging her.
Now, here's the craziest part about that is, like, the people that are doing it are Cardi B fans. And I'm sorry, Derrial just went to see Cardi B last week. And look, We're gonna get into the BBL stuff in a second, and the steroids and all that. But before I do that, you guys know I go down these like rabbit holes. I always talk about the conspiracy theories. Before we get into anything, I just want to say this because I go deep in those holes, and I love coming back and telling y'all stuff. But this is like, it got to a point this week where I was like, okay, this is like doing the most, and it's about Britney Spears. And I want to first preference this by saying I clearly love Britney Spears and have loved Britney my whole life. But there is a whole group of TikTokers who are part of the Free Britney campaign. And, you know, there are certain things they talk about where I'm like, okay, I kind of believe certain things, right? First one being maybe she's not out of her conservatorship. I was like, oh, dang. But listening to some of the facts, I'm like, or some of the things that they point out, I'm like, okay, I could see that maybe. PR-wise, they're like, this Free Britney thing's getting crazy. Let's just say whatever. But there's court dates involved and stuff like that. But I'm like, all right, maybe that could somehow, I'm for the ride for that one. The next thing came that her husband may not be a positive influence in her life, and he may be working with Lou Taylor and all these things, right? I'm like, okay, like, all right. Now, the third thing, I saw this video about Britney's wedding and how people were saying that the girl at the wedding was not really Britney Spears. And now this whole thing is that the girl we're actually seeing is not Britney Spears, and that it's a clone or it's body, like, other people who look like her, and we've been so disassociated from what Britney really looks like that now, you know, someone that looks really much similar to her could be playing this part of Britney, and we haven't seen Britney in years. So I'm like, okay, wow, that's crazy. Like, that's a lot. Not only that, but I know 2 people that went to the wedding, and I just feel like if something that weird was going on, it would have trickled down through the, you know, heard it through the grapevine, and I would be like, okay, whoa, I didn't hear anything that crazy. But so my thing is this, you guys, we got to get to a point where we realize, like, you know, this is a woman who has been trapped in something for how many fucking years, and she is not, I don't mean to sound crazy like this, but I've been through depression. When you come out of depression, and mind you, that I just came out of depression, she's going through a whole load of other shit. And you need a grace period before you were able to interact with society. And I can't imagine what her life is like, what has been like, or whatever, but we have to allow. Because what if that is really her? Like, let's jump into conspiracy world for you people that think this, right? And I'm sure none of them watch this, but the reality is if you put yourself into that person's mind and you just got out of this and now you're reading that people don't think you are you, can we just like think of the damage that could cause? Like,
Right.
imagine getting people like, why does she keep deleting her Instagram? Because maybe she's reading that people think she's an alien or a fucking clone. Like, I don't think that's a healthy thing to keep reading. So I think we need to really be careful with, going down the rabbit hole and like, realizing when we need to pull back up and come back up for air, because I'm just like, this is getting dark. And I posted like, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I left a comment on someone saying like, hey guys, like maybe we shouldn't. And the way I was attacked, like I was like attacked like, fuck you, you don't know Britney. Like, you don't know Britney. None of us know Britney. So moving on.
Celebrity culture is making us all unwell.
Yes.
Like
This delusion that we think that we do not know these people. We can have a love for them. I have a love for Beyonce's music. I don't know Beyonce. I do not love Beyonce. I don't know who she is as a person. Beyonce could be the most evil person ever. We don't know. Genuinely, we don't even see interviews with her talking at this point. We don't know who Beyonce is, but I love her music, which makes me think that because I love her music, I have this connection with her. And I do have a love for her, but like, I'm not going out here like, y'all be really riding for these Kardashians too. And like, look,
oh God.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to like slam the Kardashians or anything like that. And like, I think sometimes people do take it a little too far, but like, y'all be taking it just as far. Like, I got into it with another person because of, like, Kylie Jenner. I'm like, what? Are you reading the topic that we're here on discussing? Like, and you're talking about Kylie Jenner's child? Like, it was just a lot. But, so another story that's going around is this. Have you seen on TikTok the liverking?
No.
Oh, he is like this big buff man, like looking like Tarzan, all grown up, beefy, hairy, muscly, all that. And he basically has been on TikTok talking about he only eats meat. He does not eat anything else. All he does is eat meat. And that's how he has so much energy. He's so strong. He has all these muscles. And so it just came out, he basically got caught, that he is taking steroids. And as a part of him eating meat, where he denounced that he took steroids in the past. And this has brought up like a lot of conversation this week. Now, most people assumed this. I mean, you look at the man, you're like, okay, sir, like,
Well, something's going on and it's not just me.
yeah, like, sir. But so whatever, it's been a topic this week. So Joe Rogan went on his podcast and he brought up, well, he kind of joked about how The Rock needs to own up to using steroids. He feels that around whatever that prison movie was, that The Rock really beefed up, juiced up around there. And then he brought, who else did he bring up? He brought up The Rock, who's 50 years old, Chris Hemsworth for the Thunder. What is that?
Not Thunder. It's Thor, honey. It's Thor.
Thor, but the Love and Thunder movie. They were saying he looked more ripped and more like bigger. Mickey Rourke, who admitted to this. So basically my question is there a responsibility? Like obviously with like sports players and things like that, they have to get tested. But do we feel like there's a responsibility, like we talk about with the Kardashians, right? When like The Rock, like we watch him in Black Adam or something, like if he is taking steroids, I mean, these movie production companies, they're not testing him to like The Rock, all right, we got to see if you're going to perform to be Superman, we got to test you out for steroids. Like, do we think that there should be that should be a thing? Like, because it does get to a point where it's like it is a little unrealistic to see these men and these people in these positions. I don't know. What do you think?
It's funny you ask that because my initial reaction is no. Like, number one, I don't care. And number two, it doesn't really matter in terms of what he's selling. If he were like a fitness guru selling his workout plan as the thing that is getting him to that, but he was also taking steroids, then I think that's something he should disclose. That's why I feel like...
So he has like protein powders and things like that.
Yeah. Like if that was his product that he was trying to sell and he's telling us, I'm in shape because of this product and because of my workouts, and you're clearly taking steroids, then I would have an issue with it. That's, I think, why I have any issue at all with the Kardashians. Like, do what you want with your bodies. But this idea that they were drinking skinny teas and putting on waist trainers, and that's why their bodies look like that from working out, is bullshit. And I think there's also a different level of cultural affect that Kardashians have on body image and women in general. Like, I feel like that's a different lane anyway to begin with. So yeah, if he was out here like, yo, buy my whatever, because that's why I'm this fabulously in shape, and he was taking steroids, I'd be like, bro, you need to tell us. But because he's playing Superman, like, I gives no F's about him taking steroids. If he wants to destroy his body and his penis that way, then it's his business, not mine.
Oh. And all right, let's keep it on moving. Speaking of body, a little somber moment we can have here, but still in the conspiracy world. So Celinedion, our heart will go on. She's 54 years old. She did a video testimonial where she came out and talked about how she is diagnosed with an incurable neurological disease. She revealed that it is a rare 1 in a million disease. It's called stiff person syndrome. It basically turns a human into a statue. There's no way to fix this. There are ways to slow the process. And so she basically said she has to push back her tour, which I'm assuming is just a light way for her to basically say she's done, but still keeping a little hope. And who knows? I mean, if she could, well, she said that it affects her vocal cords and everything like that. It's so sad. I mean, honestly, genuinely, she's one of the last of the greatest singers in the world. We and Courtney were just sharing videos with each other the other day. Like, I love Mariah Carey, but like, she's just not a Patti LaBelle. She's not a, Whitney Houston, and she's not a Celine Dion, And so I think Celine, this is really sad that we are, losing the voice of a living legend.
So sad. So sad.
Beyond.
And for the record, I don't want the lambs coming after us.
No,
it's not
love
that
Mariah.
Mariah was definitely in the league, but like, I don't know what happened. She, went through some stuff, but her voice is not what it was on any level. And, I'm sorry. I love her though.
Yeah, it's not. And also Mariah's always, I feel, the big thing with Mariah is she knows she has an amazing voice, but she also really pushes that she writes her own music, because I do think that, because you see when she performs with Aretha, Patti, she never tries to compete. She knows that those are the divas, and she's going to let them do their thing, and she's going to come in and be respectful. And I've always loved that about Mariah. She knows when to be respectful to the greats. So yeah, I love Mariah. Just, I mean, look, when I saw Celine Dion, I mean, the way that woman got my hair all over my body, just standing up singing, I was like, I surrender, girl. I do. I just want to say this, because, again, my conspiracy world. And I never would, and it's not really to speak ill of Celine, but after seeing that video of her with Balenciaga a few years back with the children's clothing line, and with like the black magic, and everyone was gender neutral. It was just, we got to take the babies and love the babies, and the babies aren't really yours, they're the world's. Like, it was a weird message, which made me be like, okay, she's a part of whatever that like dark club is, like, or whatever, the dark promotion in Hollywood. I just want to say this, because she's a Canadian, I want to put a conspiracy theory out there, a prediction. Because of this, I have slowly started saying and seeing that they are trying to push assisted suicide in this world. And I told you about that Canadian movie a few weeks back, Courtney. I don't know if you remember, but it basically is a movie, and it's done beautifully. And it's like done in a way that we're going to watch it and we're going to be like, wow, I really fuck with that. Like, I get that was beautiful how she killed herself. Like, I'm sure it's going to be done beautifully, my heart will go on. I would be interested. I don't know why I just have this. As soon as I heard Celine Dion say this was the first thing that went in my mind. And if she's the first celebrity to kind of do something like this would really put that in a large scale. I hope she does not. Let me just start by that. This is just, as soon as I saw her say this is the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, I hope she does not do that, because it is kind of sad. Like, imagine you just know all of a sudden you're just gonna turn to like, and you know what I mean, like a vegetable. Like, that is crazy too. Like,
it is crazy and unfortunate, but I'm feeling like the Homer Simpson meme right now, that I like need to disappear into the bushes, because that conspiracy is like way too much for me.
I know, no, you guys, I know how crazy I sound. I know how crazy it sounds, but like I said, like, I know when to pull out when I need to pull out. But like, there are really rabbit holes that like be making some sense, and I'm like, so that's just one piece that I'm like hearing that, and it just came into my mind. I'm like, I'm interested to see if, hopefully it does not. I pray the Lord that it does not go in that direction. I'm just saying.
And I pray that there will be some miraculous like stem cell treatment that comes up in the next couple of years or something that will aid and abet her deterioration, so that she can be around much longer. Her boys are still young. They're like 20 and like 18.
She's young. She's only 54.
Like, it's terrible.
Well,
we love you, Queen.
Yes. Now, this next piece of news comes at a in light of celebration, but also some people are kind of upset about it. So we know female basketball player Brittneygriner was arrested and jailed in Russia for, she had like one of them weed pens on her, and she's been there since February.
Yes.
And it has been a very big thing. Like, obviously, this is horrendous, very scary. Like, one, it's not like this is like a part of the UN either. Like, this is like, not we like going at it with Putin, like, and now you stuck here, horrifying. So in no way, I just want to start my conversation out. In no way can I really jump into anyone. Can anyone really jump into this conversation? We're talking about is speculation here, right? But I do think it is kind of crazy, and I want to know how it works. I really do want to know how it works, because they released her for this man, and the man's name is Victor Bout, and he is known as the Merchant of Death.
Yes.
And if you look at what this man has done in his life, now again, because if it was me, I would be like, low key though, I was really thinking about it. Low key, horrified. And I don't know what I would really do in that situation. But low key, I really thought, because my initial thought was like, yeah, I'd be the fuck out of there as soon as I don't give a fuck who it was. Mother Teresa. Bye, bitch. Like, I'm out. I don't care. And then I thought about it, I'm like, okay, but wait. If I really was sitting in my cell and they told me who they were going to release, or me just do 7 years in jail, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Selfishly, initially, like I said, I was like, bye, bitch. But then I started sitting with it a little longer, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, if I was really sitting there and like knew who this man was, obviously I'm sure she had no idea who he was. I didn't know who he was till yesterday. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. You said what?
I'm like, you're saying you would think twice about accepting release?
No, I said I don't know. I could never say that, because I don't know what I would do. But in that moment, and obviously she's in a female thing, like, I would be in with the men, and hopefully I would find, I forget what, oh my God, I'm so sorry, sir. I don't know your name. I believe it was Peter. He is a Marine, and he's been over there for over a year. And they chose to release.
He's been there for 4 years.
Was it 4? I thought it was
4 years.
But he wasn't released, but Brittneygriner was released, and whatever that is, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, I guess, not an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, because even the Marine, I'd be like, the Marine probably would have been like, nope. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We've got to release this man. It's just scary. It's just like, again, I just keep feeling like we're in like, I want to say Family Guy episode, but it's scarier than that. So it's not a Family Guy episode. Like Black Mirror, literally Black Mirror. Like, we just released Captain Hook, and now like, what's going to happen in Neverland?
I mean, yeah, on the one hand, like, so my first impulse, obviously, like, nobody's happy that this arms dealer is the trade.
No, but we are happy that I do not want Brittneygriner. I don't want anyone over there.
Brittneygriner does not deserve to be in a penal colony in the butt wilderness of Russia with a freaking sheet to sleep on the floor, like, for 10 years because of what was quote unquote done, because I know there's a lot of debate. Like some people are like, well, she's guilty, like she needs to whatever, and
No,
I don't
yeah,
know.
no, not
I'm
for
not
him.
commenting on none of that. I'm a firm believer, like just because the rules are what they are in the States, like you should never expect any kind of special treatment when you go elsewhere, and you don't get to assume that the rules are the same elsewhere. But she definitely don't. I'm glad she's back. And I think, if anything, as frustrating as it is that they couldn't get the Marine as well, I think, if anything, at least the Marine's name is back in the public
Right.
consciousness, because I'm pretty sure none of us knew about him for real. I
Absolutely
mean,
not.
I remember when it happened a while ago, because I'm pretty sure it was in 2019, 2018. I remember when it happened, but I definitely it was forgotten about, like whatever, that he was still over there. So I think it's great that his name is back, and hopefully they get to figure something else out. But also with the whole release of the crazy man, the arms dealer, there's so much darkness on both sides. No shade. Love you, America, but you shady and doing dark shit too.
Oh, a
I'm not
million. I'm like, I think we need to look deeper into this. Like, I
now
think
like, is that really as big a concern as we think it is, or is this just kind of par for the course and it's already the world that we're living in to begin with?
I don't know. I think it's big, but I think it's dark, and I think it's dark on both sides. And I think Britney is just a victim in all of it,
No,
as long with Paul, Peter, sir,
it
God
was a
forgive me.
bargaining deal.
But hopefully we can get you home soon. All right, well, let's get into it. I'm very excited because you already know we have celebrity wealth expert DerrialChriston in the building. What up, Derrial? Oh,
Or not.
Derrial, you're on mute, bro.
On mute.
There we go. Hey.
All right, I think I need another intro after that. You know,
You did need
I didn't
another.
realize.
Hold on, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, live, we got celebrity wealth expert DerrialChriston in the building. What up, Derrial?
What's up, Justin Court? How y'all doing tonight?
We're good. You know, we're doing running through these topics, and I know that you have some topics for us and the whole celebrity wealth world.
Yes, you know, I mean, a lot of celebrities, as we know, have been really indulging into a variety of businesses outside of their day-to-day celebrityism. So we have, you know, like the Sierras, who just started her skincare line. We have Lenny Kravitz, who has his tequila, all the way down to Drew Barrymore, who just released a bunch of holiday appliances and microwaves and things like that. But adding to that baller celebrity wealth list is our boy Jay-Z. Jay-Z has just created a variety of opportunities, obviously, for him and his family and Beyonce, with kind of, you know, having his hands in business in a variety of things. But as of this week, it was just announced that Jay-Z is trying to add casino owner to his Rolodex of things that he is putting his celebrity wealth in. So the information that is out there right now is that Jay-Z has put a bid in with Caesars Palace Casino and the realty company SL Green for a bid to put a casino in the middle of Manhattan, in the heart of the city, at 1515 Broadway, which is also the same building that houses the 25-year running musical The Lion King. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that's been there forever. So Jay-Z has put in a bid to create this casino, but there is a little bit of drama surrounding this entire thing because a group called the Broadway League, which is basically a company that represents theater owners and also like producers, they're not really happy about this because they feel like by Jay-Z and his Roc Nation company bringing in, you know, this casino, and if it passes, which we'll find out earlier next year, that it'll take away from, you know, the traffic that goes into the restaurants and surrounding businesses that are in the heart of the city of Manhattan. Because they feel like, you know, with theater, you always have new people coming in from out of town. They want to see the shows. But this group feels like with building this particular casino, that it won't bring in new out-of-towners, and basically it'll keep the people that do come to the casino within the casino. They're not going to want to venture off to go to an outside restaurant because everything will be inside of the casino, as we know. So it's been a little bit of drama around that, but that's not stopping Jay-Z from doing his bid. I mean, you know, right now Jay-Z is an estimated net worth of 1.5 billion. So he's got a lot of money to spend and to create some new opportunities around this subject. So what do you guys think? What are you thinking about, bringing in a casino in the heart of New York City?
Ooh, I'm gonna let Courtney take that one. What do you think?
Honestly, it feels a little bit misplaced and bizarre, but like could be kind of sexy, I guess. I mean, I feel like that's such a Jersey thing, and or Atlantic City, like, and to be in the center of Manhattan, like. But I would imagine you could also do something super swanky and cool from a casino perspective, and it's not your average, like, gaudiness of a Vegas or Atlantic City. That could be super cool. And in the end, it'll probably bring jobs, which is always good. And I don't think the concern about like the restaurants and like people actually venturing out is an actual legit concern, because I feel like New York City as an energy period, like that's just the energy of New York. Like you go in and you go places, you go to restaurants, like that's, so if you come for the casino, you might be in the casino for a while, but you're going to leave at some point and hit a restaurant or do whatever. So I don't know that that's a real valid concern.
I would say for me, I used to work right across the street from that on 42nd, and that was Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. And that specific spot, I remember they updated the McDonald's there, and it just got crazy. That one specific street, I mean, literally, you're saying 42nd Street, right? So it has all the tons of stores. Right at the end of it is the bus station. Like, it's all right there. So I can see them wanting to put it there because of that station. My only concern with this, and I don't feel like this was anything really having to do with it taking spaces from other places. I think that it would bring the value down personally. Reason being is when they redid that McDonald's, I will never forget this. One day on Easter, I was working Easter, and all these guys in red and black lined up across the street, and then all these guys below me in green and yellow lined up, and there was a shootout, all because they were going to open a Marc Echo. It was like crazy. There was a Marc Echo store that was going to go in, and they were like trying to break into the Skechers thing, and like they shot bullets and stuff like that. So I would think that this would be a more of a hazard personally to put it right here.
Safety, yeah.
I would think like right here is like, maybe not. Maybe like, because like, are homeless people going to be able to get into the casino easily and like hang out? Like, I don't know if that's the perfect spot for it. Maybe like out in Queens somewhere, but I'm not feeling it as far as that is,
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously, Jay-Z has ventured into a variety of different businesses and put a lot of money into New York City. So I actually think personally that this is a cool kind of next step for him to do something for New York and bringing in a new clientele and bringing in new people and money. I mean, as I mentioned, Forbes has estimated that Jay-Z's net worth is $1.5 billion. So he has a lot of money to spread around and to create these different ventures and unique opportunities of wealth for himself. I mean, I don't think that it'll personally take away from the businesses that are already created there and even from the theater. Because I think if people are going to come to the casino, it's just like going to Vegas. When you go to Vegas, you don't just stay in your casino. You go to different shows, you go to different restaurants, and you're spending your money in a variety of different places. So I personally think that Jay-Z bringing this casino into Manhattan is a good idea and could bring more money into the city. So, I mean, I get a little bit of the uproar slightly from, the Broadway League, because they are afraid of taking away from that estimated amount of wealth that they receive from people from out of town and those things. But I really do truly think that this is going to be a great investment for Manhattan. And it doesn't bother me that it's actually in Manhattan, because it keeps it all in the city. And there's so many restaurants, there's so many places to go, there's so many shows to see, that if people are in the city, they can be exposed to that while they're there.
Well, there you have it. All right. We'll see if that goes through now, because Jay-Z's also heard he's looking to buy a basketball team too. I think a few weeks ago he was with Jeff Bezos, I think.
Yeah, they said he was meeting with Jeff Bezos about a potential basketball team. I mean, we already know that he had invested in the Brooklyn Nets. He'd already invested in Brooklyn Nets. So, I'm sure that's another next step for him as well. And like I said, when you have that amount of money, you can do a lot of different things. And he also, there's a Robo Pizza that he just put in a lot of money for. I think it was around estimated like $16.4 million to help Robo Pizza.
What is Robo Pizza? Those robot flipping pizzas?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking jobs away from Americans, Jay-Z. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
Blocked me, like I'll slink away with $1 million and like go do something and be happy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, easy million. He's got it. Hove's got it to spare.
Yeah, well, he ain't trying to spare it to nobody else.
Pocket change.
Pocket change for Hove.
All right, what else you got for us, Dara?
All right. Also adding to the celebrity wealth topic of this week is Serenawilliams. So, I feel like Serena is like our American sports female sweetheart. She can't do anything wrong. We love her. Even when we're mad at her, we love her, right? So she's adding to her Serena ventures with a new product, actually. So, she's spoken about this before in the past about the pain of playing sports for so many years, how it is on your joints. And many athletes have actually joined that conversation of talking about the pain and wear and tear it has on your body. Well, Serena has a new product that she's putting out in the market. It's called Will Perform. And it is a recovery and self-care treatment of products that will help a variety of different things. Like there's 4 different additional products outside of Will Perform that she has coming out, which are Will Relieve, Will Cool, Will Rest, and Will Soothe. So Serena's whole point of this is she wants to focus on really helping the athlete recover, because she has quoted in the past that, one of the things that her former coach had told her is that, it's about the athleticism that a athlete has, but it's also about how do they really recover? How do they get their body back into the form that it needs to be? So she's another one who's adding to a long list of products and ventures that she's investing into. So how do you feel about Will Perform? Would you go out to the stores and buy it?
I mean, I'm not performing personally, so so I'm not. But I think that's cool. I think it brings me to like what Courtney kind of talked a few weeks ago. We were talking about Nicki Minaj and how she always wished that Nicki could find something in her realm of like being girly or being, in hip hop and finding a product that she could really run out and promote. I think this is genius for her. I think that this is something that it's not like a sneaker. It's not like the same thing that we've heard. It's not a makeup line, like, thank God. It's not like sport resistant makeup, like, which, I mean, there you go. Hey, but that is, I don't know if that's a thing or what, but you know what I'm saying? So I think that it's unique. I think that it's a product that if she really tested it out, because it is actually really interesting, random that I even am in the world of this right now. But my grandmother, she uses what is it, like the hot and icy, and it smells like freaking peppermint, and I hate it. It just like, you just know what room my yayo was in, and just be like, girl, what is that smell? But it's the Christmas, like, what?
Icy hot.
But after you use it, after a while, you become almost like, it's like, this don't really work, and you just slapping this on just so that you smell it, so you can be triggered to think that it works. So I'd be interested to know how much she really put into this product, how it works. But frankincense, I'd be interested to know if that's part in her product. Frankincense gel. Go ahead.
It's amazing. I love frankincense. So I'm the essential oils person and whatever, and I got a massage one time, like, I guess like your neck bands with frankincense oil. And I didn't even realize that I was congested here or tense here. And I almost fainted because it relaxed me so quickly. And like those muscles it was just a crazy release. And I almost fell over. Like, it was that crazy. And I was sitting down. But shout out to Serena. I think it's a brilliant idea. Totally agree with you. It's perfectly like brand alignment, but also still something interesting and different. Not your sneakers, not your fashion, not your makeup. Like, I like this for her. I'm excited.
So when is this releasing, Derrial?
So the product will release on December 18th. You can actually right now go to wellperform.com and get the well-performed individual product. But nationwide, it's going into Target stores on December 18th. So it'll be available then. You can actually get it online or walk into the Target store and grab it yourself. So I want to try it. I mean, I feel like Serena is so close to doing this type of product, especially with it being a post muscle reliever for the athlete. And what I have also seen, you can also, it's not just for people who are playing a sport every day. If you just are kind of like having recreational activity sports and things like that, you can also apply this. I mean, because it is really all about the recovery at the end of the day. And so I feel like she's going to give something really good, especially with her history of just her muscles and muscle problems and aches and pains. I feel like this is a product that'll really be good for her. So, I mean, and another one, she's another one. Forbes.com just reported that she's estimated about $260 million. So she's got some money to spend and to really put in some good ingredients for this product. So I think it'll do well. I'm excited to see it, and I think it's like right in alignment with what she's doing. She partnered with Eric Ryan, who co-founded Welly Menthol and Oily, and also Hank Mercer, who is a packaged good executive. So Eric Ryan and Hank Mercer are her business partners in this. So she's got some pretty strong business leadership behind her. So we'll see how the product does.
Yeah, I thought I saw an ad for it, and then the picture, the product actually looks like a good general product. Like I like the packaging of it. The ad was a little weird because at first I thought she was injecting herself because like the way she was like it's a picture of her rubbing it, but I was like, what? I was a little taken back. But girl, look. This is the age of no stand. We don't need a standstill picture of you with the stick on it. This is a new age, Serena. So what I need you to do is get on this TikTok trend, send it over to Odell Beckham Jr., have him use this on, because we sick of this ankle, okay? We need to get this man's ankle fixed. So hopefully
I know, it's always broke. Get it together.
Get it together.
It's always broke. Yeah. I'm sure there's a full line of athletes that need to use this product right now.
1,000,000%. And hopefully they'll go out and support her. Well, this is interesting because another story, and obviously I had to hit you up and I was like, Daryl, I want you to be here for this story. So let's get your advice. So Kyrieirving, we know everything that's been going on with him. He was suspended for promoting something that a lot of people took as anti-Semitic, and then he recently was just dropped from his contract with Nike early, and he just did a show. Is it a call show? What is it? A game? I guess they did a game last night. I've been watching too much Housewives, y'all. So there was a game last night, and he duct taped over his Nike shoes and wrote, "I'm free," finally. And so it got me thinking, like, because a lot of people on social media, like, he's done, like, no one's ever going to pick him up again. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think him writing that is him being like, oh, I'm free from Nike, let me go to like Adidas or K-Swiss or something. I don't think his mindset is there. But what would you like, where could you see the brand of Kyrieirving being in this predicament in a way that he could be because he is inspiring to a lot of people, that he could be inspiring to a lot of independent. We talk about independent music artists, but I look at him as an independent athlete, someone who wants to play the game and not really be in the mix of like, I have to do what I have to do because you want me to wear your shoes or whatever. What's your take on the whole situation? Daryl, did you freeze?
I know, we lost Daryl.
Oh no, Daryl! Like, not even mad.
Well,
are we gonna see if we can get Daryl back? Hold on, yeah.
We'll
what do you think, Courtney?
I will say that I would find it very interesting if he chose, because I don't know how accurate these are, because you just be scrolling on social media, everybody got a product, everybody's doing something. Like one of these little kids that's invented some kind of shoe that's cute. enough. Maybe it's not like your shoe that you're wearing for intense sports play, but like a good sneaker that you would wear around and like flex on. I would love to see him like find somebody like that who has like done their own thing and like try to give them their come up. Kind of like how, Nike needed Jordan in the 80s and like suddenly Nike became, Nike. Do that for like some young Black entrepreneur making some sneakers, because it hasn't really worked yet. I know the Ball family, I think they're called, with all the brothers, Alonzo, and they had the daddy, and I think two of the boys play basketball, and like he had their shoes at one point and people were making fun of them and whatever. But it would just be nice to see like an actual like Black company that's starting on this moment.
1,000,000% agree with that. Now we got Derrial back. Derrial, welcome back.
It was like the Kyrie guys were, I don't know what was happening, what was going on. Maybe the Nike guys were coming at me. They didn't want to hear my response.
You don't want to hear my conspiracy theory as to who it was. No, just kidding. No, it was funny because I went to you and then it was just, I thought you were playing Frozen. I was like, does he not want to answer the question? No, but Courtney just brought up a really cool thing. She would really love for Kyrie to work with a young, independent sneaker, someone who is doing sneakers or something like that, and work with a new artist or whatever. Yeah,
a young Black.
I mean, honestly, well, it's funny you say that. Like, I definitely think a young new artist would be great. I mean, I was kind of speaking about this before. The conspiracy theory shut my volume down. But I think that with Kyrie, he will still, I think the other brands, once this firestorm is over a bit and people kind of like calm down a bit, I think that other brands will also really want to work with him because of the fact that he has made his statements. Like he had his tweet was nothing to try and be hateful or anti-Semitic or any of those things. So I feel like, him explaining that and letting people know where his viewpoint was with it, I think that eventually, once the firestorm kind of dies down, he'll have other opportunities. Now, in reference to working with new artists, it's funny because I just got back from Art Basel in Miami, and I was even thinking like maybe he could tie with one of these new artists and create like his own specialty shoe and take that to, I love what Courtney said about a, more independent Black retailer or Black shoe company or something like that, or even in some form of art, like working with a new artist, creating something like a Black new artist, creating something unbelievable, and then creating that shoe off of that. So there's just so much talent out there, and he's so inspiring to so many different types of talent and artists and young people. I think that going down that lane of working with like an artist and creating something special around that, he could get, rise back to the top and won't catch as much heat as he is right now.
Totally agree. And I really hope that, I do agree that other brands, I think, will start being like, okay, they're not going to condemn him. But I really hope that this was the drive for him and other artists who, whether they're musical artists, athletes, start going in this route. Like, I'm sick and tired of us complaining about the man, but then continuing to support the man, like in every field aspect of it, and I do it a lot. I do this daily, and it is hard to reprogram your mind, to take the extra step to just say, you know what, I'm not going to get this brand. Let me see what another option is. And, maybe just say, look, this doesn't mean this is forever. Let me try it and see if that works. There are some things where it's just like, you know what, I've tried some different brands and like we just gonna stick with the Dove. We're gonna stick with the Dove, and you know what I'm saying, like whatever the thing is. It's not Dove for me personally, but that's what came to mind. So hopefully
Dove.
Yeah, so hopefully he finds something like that, and I would love to see him be that first movement. More so than him, like, I don't want this to turn into like a Yee 24 on like half the athletes' feet, like a Yeezy thing. Like, I don't want it to be that at all. I hope that he finds new talent and does his own thing. All right. So I know, we've been on the whole celebrity wealth thing, but there was one topic that I was like, okay, but we're going to have Derrial on. We just have, for good old times, just have talk about it. We got to talk about TJ and Amy, y'all, because I know me and Courtney brought up last week, but I was like, Derrial going to be on this week. We all got to get a little bit of juice in. So since last week, actually last Thursday, when me and Courtney first talked about it, they had let the two back on the show that morning, and they did the show like nothing ever happened. And following that, probably ABC looking like, everyone was on Twitter enjoying this a little bit too much. Also, because for a quick amount of time, I was like, is ABC low-key for this? Because it's very much giving Apple TV's The Morning Show. Very much so. Like, the whole story shebang. But so since then, they have removed the two from the show. They didn't say fired, but they said they're taking them off air. There was an investigation to see if any lines were crossed or violated. Apparently there was nothing found in violation. I don't know if that's still continuing on, but so far nothing has been found. What is Derrial? Because tell us what is your whole take on this? What do you think about a little work romance, a little adultery, in the tabloids?
That's
wow. I mean, listen, I've been a fan of tjholmes for a while. I think he's an unbelievable journalist and correspondent. When I found this out or saw this in the news, I'm not shocked the fact that they took a couple days to take them off the air to let the firestorm go down. But then when I noticed that they keep saying, well, what I've seen with reports that they're going to bring them back on. They're just letting the information die down and let people digest it, let the viewers digest it first. I was like, I don't know. It's starting to be, it's been a week now. So it's starting to be it's interesting to see where this is going to go. But, we are in a time where people have, there's sex tapes, there's Twitter tweets that people put out that, that not everyone agrees with. I think, not that adultery is anything to anything that's good. I think that with this situation, though, they work together all the time. Things happen. Do I think that he should be canceled or fired because of the fact that he had an affair, an office affair? I don't think so. I don't think that neither one of them should. I mean, at the end of the day, that's between them and their family and his wife and, if her husband. I think that's something that they have to deal with. I don't think that he should be fired or she should be fired for that particular thing. I do think that once they let this die down for a week or so, that there'll be another story in the headlines and people will forget about this a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know if they need to be on the same show right now. Maybe they need to separate them into different segments or different shows because it is still a very fresh wound. But I don't know. I don't think that someone should be canceled because of that personally, because I think that that's between what's going on in his house. I don't know what's going on in TJ's house. I don't know what's going on in Amy's house. Now, they also say that he was removed as well because it wasn't about his affair with Amy. It was about his history with having an affair before with someone at the network. So that's what they're using as the reason that they actually took him off air right now. And I think she's
trashy, sleazy, classless, nasty. Put some clothes on. I told you, don't walk out your house without your clothes. I mean, he's fine. I'm not gonna lie. He is fine. And if I was working across from him every day, I mean, you know what I'm saying? The devil will tempt you. The devil will send temptation. And let me tell you, the devil don't look like how you think he look. He don't look like the Lil Nas video. The devil look like tjholmes.
He like TJ, got Amy risking it all.
And the devil looked like Amy too. And you see what I'm saying? And then he just says, thank you. You bite the apple, and baby, it was bitten. And here's the thing.
This is a common.
No, but
this happens all the time.
Right, but this is my problem. Again, I have no issue. I think that's crazy. No workplace relationships. Again, I think most of my friends come from my jobs. Most people I meet come from working. And every bad relationship I've had came from me just not wanting it to be attached to work or and finding somebody. And now I'm starting to think well, maybe I actually should find somebody in the world in which I enjoy, right? So I have no problem with the work thing. My problem is the cheating, because and I don't think anyone should get canceled for it. I don't personally. Like, again, if you cheat, that's on you. Like, if people, I actually think it's, now we know, great, now you're a piece of shit. If I want to follow you and support you, that's on me. You know, it's like an Andrew Tate thing. It's like, I'd rather him be loud so I can know that he's loud and he's over there and that's what he's doing and I'm aware that's what he's doing, so I do not go over there. But with this whole situation, it's like, once you start dating somebody and then it becomes messy, I mean, things can be happening at the office, threats and things like that. People's families getting involved. Like, ABC has no time for that. And I'm assuming that was the real reasoning. Like, look, there are way too many people involved. It's not like they were just fucking. Like, because then it's whatever. Then the last thing, like, they're going to put them back on TV and all we're going to think every time, every scene they're in, we're like, are they still fucking? Are they still fucking? Like, that's... as soon as I see them on camera again, that's gonna be in my mind. I'm already questioning it. Like, so are they together now? Like, is it now, or is it ruined now? Now is it like, this isn't even fun anymore? Like, now everyone knows I don't even want you. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they friends? Like, are they working on this together? Are they gonna push through? Is a baby gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have all the questions. Like, I'm just curious. I mean, none of that's gonna happen. I'm just curious. You know, I just like to ask questions once in a while.
All I can say is, dude, control your dick in the workplace. Like, look, I totally get that, like, we spend more time at work than anywhere else, and sometimes relationships happen from that. But it's looking like TJ done dipped it low and spread it wide multiple times. That's not just by accident. Like, that's a self-control issue, in my opinion. And if you're doing that, you are definitely making the environment of work sexually charged, possibly in a way with people around you that makes other people uncomfortable. So where I may not care one way or the other, if he cheated on his wife and all of that, if it's getting messy in the office, like you said, Jesse, it's time to cut it loose. So sorry, TJ. Good luck.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
You know,
I mean, listen, I think that they'll both return. I don't think that this is the end.
I don't think they'll both return to GMA.
I don't think they're both going to return.
No, I think.
You think they're going to get let go?
I think Amy might return. I think TJ might get let go.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't think TJ is going to get canceled. Like, we have to be with the wordings. I don't think he's getting canceled. I do believe that he will not be back on GMA. Doesn't mean he won't be on an ABC show, but I do not believe he'll be on GMA. He might bounce to the Today Show or something like that.
No, he ain't gonna change networks. He gonna be on like ABC News, like the cable.
Right, they're gonna have him on Dancing with the Stars, like standing in the audience, like, "Hey, tjholmes here." Like, I don't know. My thing is this too, though. It was just the like, and again, I fall for it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if y'all really was like paying attention to that one clip, but there's a one clip he's in like these biker shorts with these like biker leggings under it, and she's sitting on the couch and he's just laid back, and he just like keeps like doing this thing with his legs, like clapping his thighs together, and it is just like like, because here's the thing, if you just look at him, he's cute. He's not like, damn, but he's cute. Like, it's like, he's not ugly. He ain't like, oh, he fun. Like, he's not that. But his like personality,
he has swag.
He has swag. And the way he was swinging them shorts. First of all, now that was on Instagram. Now, first of all, if that was my husband, bye. Goodbye after that video. You didn't even need to tell me about the affair. We're done after that. The way he was slapping them thighs together, sir. Absolutely not.
But again, we don't know what is in his what agreements he has in his household, what he and his wife talk about. That's where I think that there's also a very tricky line, because we as people who are watching these talents on television, we think that we know we put our morals and our judgment on these other people when we don't know what they have going on inside of their home. That's all
And no moral on nobody except you will not embarrass me in public, and you have now embarrassed me in public, and that is a problem, sir.
Yeah, like, do you go ahead, dip your little fun dip
that's
your
your
little
big
your
man where
little
you can
fun
dip
dip. You know, the fun dip and the little powder. Go ahead, dip your little stick in the red one. You can dip it in the blue one, but baby,
But baby, you got found out and now you have humiliated me. That is a problem.
And baby, I don't have Illuminati money, so this is not a ritual. Thank you.
And let me put it out there. I don't go for the cheating at all. I'm not saying I would have an arrangement and only being embarrassed would be my issue. We would have an issue with you cheating.
Right, because I mean, here's the thing. Here's why people are
Those
really.
are my morals.
Here's the thing. Here's why this got so much traction too, because we are dealing, like we said, with crazy drama right now. It's dark. It's like children, blood. Like what? Like what are we fucking talking about? So like to hear about like, oh, good old workplace, you know, like flirting and all that stuff. Okay, but I also think it's a thing that makes me happy about. Well, I don't know about happy about this because actually I didn't see too many people like really upset about it. I think more people are like, aha, gotcha. But I hope that gotcha came from like you cheating ass, like kind of a thing, because I hope. You know, is it the end of the world? No. But like I'm really sick and tired of us really promoting a world of no morals and virtues. And like you can again have whatever your thing is with your girl, your Will and Jada moment, invite August, all that. But know you are a celebrity and know that it can get messy. So like, was that the smartest thing for you guys to be like so coupled up in public and stuff like that? Because the thing is it shouldn't feel offensive to me, but if I'm watching a show every day and I, like we were saying earlier, like it's like I don't know Beyonce, but I feel like I could have a conversation with her and like we would get along great because of her music, and I feel that connection. So like if I feel you're this married man and you're playing this part, it is a little disheartening to me, like because we do live in this world of reality. And you are not just the weather guy. You are not just this person. We feel connected, right? So I hope a lot of this stems from a little bit of anger, because I just think we are in a place where we don't have to hold marriage and all this kind of stuff. Leave. Just be done, or don't be sneaky about it. Or when it is sneaky about it, come out and express it. If that is how your household is, then tell us, because you're showing us everything else.
Technically, they both have made statements, I believe, that they both left their spouses back in August. So they are apart from their spouses. So.
Yeah, the issue is not. Yeah, it's not the issue anymore about them leaving their spouses. It's more of how long the affair was going on while they were with their spouses. That's what people are like in that uproar about.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. Because then leave. Hopefully that's why they left in August. They were like, we go on to do this. Oh shit, we got found out before we were fully out. You know what I mean? Like, all right, fine. Then I can stick with that story and give them their jobs. But I don't want to see them on the same show because my mind's going to go elsewhere. Then at this point, this has now become a porn. This has become like a soap opera. Yeah, like this is not a morning show. Like now I'm thinking about them having sex and I want to see it. Like he's fine and she's beautiful. Like why not? At this point, well, let's just get the Ray J. Let's just get the TJ and Amy tape going. Let's just start. Why not? In this world.
No, thank you.
Well, let me ask you this question now. We're in an age right now where like everybody wants to know everything about everyone's personal life. I mean, we see it on social media. We see it, we see it on TV. Do you think that it starts to be a little bit too much? Like where can the separation come in where it's
by
like,
them
okay,
not
sure,
being on TV? It got out. Unfortunately,
but is that fair?
Unfortunately, if you don't want to explain yourself or if you do not want your life in front of the television, right? It's like we all do things that, you know what I mean? Like we may not want everyone in the world to know about. So it's about knowing what your actions are. Are you responsible enough to be in front of the camera on my network? If this was your network and you want to do Howard Stern, do it all you want. You're on Good Morning America. This is like, think of how many hosts have been on this show. The reputation that this show, tries to carry the legacy. So now because you can't keep your dick in your pants, this isn't even, we're not talking about two people who fell in love. Maybe they did. Maybe, but at this point, this is his second offense, right? So it's like that we know of, right? So the thing is, for me as a network, it's like, yeah, look, hey, I don't hate you, bud. Look, I don't hate you. It's literally the morning show. You guys like watch the morning show. We don't hate you, but unfortunately, like, no, we watch something. All you can think about is that. It's not. It's gonna be hard because he is flirtatious. He is touchy. So what if he touches another girl? Is it like, oh, are they doing this? Like, and as a network, I would think they're like, we don't want people even that to even be a thing in people's mind. Now that sucks more for ABC, as a matter of fact, because now they have to find people who are going to have that kind of on-camera presence and be able to deliver that same thing. And then they still have to worry, like, hopefully they're not fucking now because of whatever drama. Like, this is not the Housewives. And I think we've become so accustomed to the Housewives lifestyle that's why celebrities feel like, oh, well, you know what? I'm just living my life. Why can't I just live because you're a celebrity, because you chose a certain lifestyle that you have to be a little protective. You can't, unfortunately, you just can't. And if you do, there are consequences. It's like everyone out now here, like, getting pissed because their job is firing them from posting TikToks. Well, duh. The fuck are you think? You're in McDonald's and you're touching stuff without your hands. You're in Starbucks, like, doing crazy stuff, talking about people. You're in Cheesecake Factory showing people's receipts. Like, what? Like, this is just what I'm saying. Like, your job is just to be a news host, sir. Like, the rest of the stuff, unfortunately, you didn't keep it quiet enough. You wasn't pimp enough, sir. I'm sorry. So unfortunately, you can't do your business here. You go do whatever you want to do. It just ain't here. Sorry. That's personally how I feel. It's not a villainizing. It's just like, unfortunately, your scandal has created a distraction from what we're trying to do here. And what we're trying to do here is not OnlyFans. It's not Real Housewives. It's delivering news. And when you deliver whatever news is he a weatherman? I don't know. Whatever news he delivers, now all I'm gonna see is them thighs. I'm not Googling tjholmes to, like, see what his accolades are. Like, the only time I've ever Googled tjholmes in my life at this point was literally tjholmes shirtless. That was it. So, like, at this point, throw it all away. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say there should be no boundaries for people that, you know, work in entertainment or media, because I don't think that's a logical or fair expectation. But what I will say, if I was ABC, TJ and Amy have presented us with a liability, because if that relationship goes left and somebody feels uncomfortable, but we thought y'all was cool because y'all was just both effing around, but it's uncomfortable and the other one isn't and it's not speaking up, you have put us in a very challenging situation. And you've clearly done this before in TJ's case. We don't know. We haven't heard anything about Amy doing it before. Like, that is a pattern to me of a lack of self-control, like I said before. And I would not feel comfortable as an executive being like, I'm going to let this one go.
I got it, though. I got it.
You're going to put me in some mess that I don't want to be in.
I know what they can do. I got it. I got the perfect plan. Y'all are going to be on the revive of cheaters. I could totally see it. Really think about it. It would be like
dirty flirt.
It would be like catfish, like Nev and his girl, like, or the girl that's on there. But it would be TJ.
They're the host, or they're going to have a episode?
No, they're the hosts. I think they should be the hosts. Investigative journalists work with whoever the person is to try and find the cheater, because they would know. They'd be like, no, we would do this. This is the greatest way to make sure they never find out. We're going to go check behind the pizza shop. Like, we're going to check the cabin in the woods because that's where we would go. I think I could see something going on there. And why not? We live in a world of scandal. Netflix will pick it up.
I'm done.
Yeah, but that'll also probably be the end of their careers of being perceived as very smart journalists.
Well, I don't like Beyonce said.
They clearly wanted to be tabloid fodder because they was frolicking around New York City.
Frolicking.
Like regular old hoes.
I think that's the thing. Frolicking is the perfect word. Courtney.
It's not like they were discreetly in butt Vermont somewhere. They were in Manhattan, slapping each other on the butt, like playing with each. Like, come on, stop.
Y'all could have went to the Poconos.
You know what I'm saying? You could have went somewhere.
I can't. Daryl. I appreciate you for coming through and dropping all that celebrity wealth information. Where can everyone follow you and keep in contact and watch all your content?
You can follow me at DerrialChriston. That's DerrialChriston on all the socials. You can also catch me on Saturday mornings on CBS on the show Destination LA. That's if you're in Southern California. If you're not in Southern California, you can also catch the show on Pluto and on CBS.com, or you can just YouTube it. Or you can catch my clips on my social media. But thank y'all for having me today. I'll be back next week with some new information about celebrity wealth, because there's a lot of it out there. I'm trying to get my millions and billions like our boy Jayz and our girl Serena and Sierra and the Kardashians and everybody else. So,
Yeah,
but
but you-
right now, I'll just report on their shit.
That's what I was going to say. You go do the investigative journalism and come back and give us all the info.
And don't be hopping in no Amy type pants now.
Oh!
Oh.
But if you find a TJ, send him on over this way.
If I find TJ, I'll make sure he has his biker shorts on and send them your way.
All right. What is that? What's that thing called? Where people like write to the celebrity, pay like $15 and they'll say happy birthday to you.
Oh, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
And something.
Yeah, I want one of those. Him just slapping it for 15 minutes. There we go. Boom. All right, Darrial, thanks. We'll see you next week. Oh man. Oh, okay. I think I lost Courtney. Hopefully Courtney will call right on back. Let me just hold on. There we go. Boom. All right, y'all. So let's get into Real Housewives. When I tell you I wasn't ready, because Monday, I already know Courtney hit me up and was like, "Oh, let's just do the show and talk Potomac," because we needed to, right? And I thought I had seen something somewhere where they said Salt Lake was going to be off this week. Surely wasn't. Not only that, but then Courtney was like, "Have you been on Peacock? Real Housewives of Miami?" And I was like, 4 episodes. So we're going to get into, this is just too much to talk about, because honestly, Miami was giving it. Miami, I was a fan.
Stop.
Courtney, what did you think? Just a general of Miami, because I want to talk Salt Lake first.
Okay.
In case anyone hasn't watched Miami, then at least you can save it for later.
Miami showed up. No, Miami showed up.
Did.
Showed up.
And in the first episode, in the very first, I didn't need the 4. You could have just given me the 1, which is...
Didn't need the 4, but I'm so glad you did, honey.
Did. All right, so let's get into, and if you guys are in the comments, let's talk Housewives. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Have you watched all the Miami? Have you subscribed yet? And have you hit the like button yet either? Because not there were more people in my chat than liked the actual video. What? Oh. All right, so let's get into it. All right, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So we're continuing. And honestly, I was kind of gagged myself that it was still day 1.
Yes, honey. Still day 1.
Still day 1. And so we get Jen versus Angie 2.0. This is how I've nicknamed them. At first, I was going to say White Angie and Greek Angie, but then I've turned it to, we'll leave the first Angie, and then this new Angie, she's just 2.0. So my whole thing is this, like... Before we get into this delusion, because this show is a delusion.
All a delusion.
It is just bad. All right, but Jen, please, we keep talking about accountability. Now, what I've realized is out of every Housewives show, series, I would say Real Housewives of Salt Lake has the hardest time owning up to things that they've done. When I really think about all of the Housewives franchises, I low-key feel like it's really hard for these women. Because, like, New York, it's like you have, like, Ramona, who, like, will own up right away. Do it right again. But she at least owns... Yeah, I did do that. Okay. All right. So what? So I'm a bitch. Okay, I'm a racist bitch. So what? I'm not going to do it again. And then she does it again. You know what I mean? But, like, at least she owns up, at some point. Or even if it's not the whole thing, it's, like, some point. I feel like with this show, it's like, Jen, like, let's just stop pretending that you threw that drink on her because you just wanted to lighten the mood. Like, it's insulting at a certain point of like, girl, what? Like, everything out of your mouth is not valid at this point, because just say it. Because the reality is if you had your own room and you didn't have to share with Angie, you would have continued to let Angie give the tour and none of that drama would happen. But because of that room, that is why you threw that freaking drink. I'm sorry. I can't rock with that delusion. I just can't. It's
also like, are you, because here's my issue with Salt Lake. And I will say, this is the first episode in a while that I've like, that kept my attention the whole time. Like, I wasn't distracted and like coming back to it and whatever. It feels like, I want to find a better word than crazy. But it feels like it's just a consistent roller coaster of crazy that has no rhyme, reason, or logic, and just goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's coming from all of them. And it comes from all of them.
I know.
Like, Jen is the queen culprit, but it is also like super uncomfortable because it feels like even in her psychosis, everyone is still trying to like be the one that she likes, or be the one that is her best friend, or be the one that's by her side. And I'm just like,
but and that's what makes me love her even more. Honestly, because at the beginning of the series, I wasn't rocking for her. And then I'm like, at what point? And then I just fell into, I'm like, yep, Jen Shah, fuck it, Jen Shah. OG.
I just don't get it. Like, what is it? Like, is it because she's the ethnic one? So they're like, oh, she's a cool girl, so like we want to be attached to that. It's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen grown as women.
So I feel like there is a factor of being that girl, right? And I would rather more so talk about this for Miami, because I have a very strong opinion about Larsa and Lisa's friendship. But I feel like with this situation, kind of does play into race a little bit. Personally, I do feel like it does. I feel like out of all the girls, they look at Jen like she has the it factor, because comparing to everyone else, it's like, well, I mean, yeah, she is the loudest. She'll comes out with the costumes, and you know, she probably took people out to lunch the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But now we know that was with money that, like, did you pay for that lunch?
Ill-gotten gains. Like.
So I feel like it's just like she's that girl, and and because of that, I feel like it is their way of feeling in proximity to feeling cultured. Or I do agree with that little piece. I do think that there is a little bit of that within all of them that hold on to this friendship with her, because like Angie's different, a little different, because they've been friends the longest. But like Angie, she says I've been used and I've been conned into hosting that party. And I haven't been paid back. It's like, girl, you've been friends for 20 years. Like, you're sitting here talking about, oh, I have too much self-respect. No, you don't. Because I'm sure this wasn't the first time. I'm sure you and Jen have not just had this flawless friendship to where it's equal and you don't feel at times that you've been slighted. Like I've continuously said, we know who Jen Shah is. Jen Shah has never changed on this show. Jen Shah has been Jen Shah from season 1 to now. Now we know a little backstory.
Facts.
But if that's who she's been, the problem has always been consistent. She doesn't want to own up to things. And so then she'll flip it. But then when no one's on her side, she'll find the little gazelle, whoever the gazelle is. Usually it's Heather. And you feel bad for me. I love you. Oh my God, I would never. I'm so sorry. Dumb bitch. And it turns into that.
Mm-hmm. The boat ride from hell.
I will say though, Whitney was a good icebreaker for when Jen came over on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Because she did a little upside down twerk thing. Lisa tries getting the girls to dance. Jen mumbles, "I've been the fucking fun." Okay. Jen keeps trying to block out Lisa, just because she's mad that Lisa.
The whole thing was just so weird.
It was just childish.
It was so crazy. Like, and the fact that Lisa kept indulging it made it like beyond crazy. Because I'm like, you're supposed to be, of all of them, like, people have had issues with you too. Like, at what point do you say, F you, Jen? Deuces. Like, why do you care? Don't be.
But this is my thing with Lisa. Lisa needs to be liked. She needs to be the center of attention. Lisa is the main character. And like, we all are the main character in our own lives. But like, we really all know, like, okay, I know you're the character in your main life, and we all know that, right? But we still have our little, like, you know, I walk through my life and narrate my life, but like Lisa takes it to the point of like not understanding that like everyone else isn't involved in that. Mentally within yourself they are, but outside in real life they're not. And I think that's Lisa's problem, is that why is no one paying attention? Why did no one talk to me? Why? But like, why didn't you not realize that, like, I know it was your dad, but like, you didn't know it was at 7:30. So that was the only tweet that I had. So I had to show everyone that text message. It's like, there's just like this numb factor to her brain. And this whole fight with her and Jen, honestly, I loved it. I thought it was beyond hilarious, where Jen is, "Don't you dare! Don't fuck your charcuterie board!" First of all, the fact that you called that a charcuterie board, not the Stop and Shop football, like, Sunday, like Super Bowl Sunday with the carrots and the French dip, like, what?
Girl, and threw it in the ocean.
Threw it on the ocean.
Just littering.
The smartest thing, though, Lisa has said all season was emotional manipulation. 100% agree. I think the point is not to call it out within Jen, because that's not something she's going to resonate with. But I think it's something that in that moment, when you realize that this was emotional manipulation, you just back away. Let crazy be crazy. You're right. You're right, Jen. You know what? I'm so sorry. You're right. And you just back away. Because what are you going to get out of this conversation?
It wasn't even a conversation. And like, Jen is a petulant child, and how dare you shove anybody and think that that's cool when you screaming in their face? And how dare you take it, Lisa Barlow? Like, I'm sorry, I don't condone violence, but I would have kicked her in the face. Like, I would have stood up after she shoved me and kicked her.
Yeah, and the thing is with these shows, it's so funny because it's like, you know, you have Whitney on the side being like, "This is the thing. No, you guys have to take accountability." Girl, what? Or you just sit down. Why are you in this? Like,
Meredith was not interested in entertaining her when she was trying to be like, "Nobody's taking accountability," and Meredith's like, "I'm not going to listen to that child tell me what to do."
because she doesn't take accountability. Like, we just got off the last 2-3 episodes where you kept deflecting the whole thing onto Heather not remembering something that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Only you were talking about it, but you wanted to drag Heather into this. So, and then when Heather says, "Oh, I don't," you nailed her to the cross versus saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I take accountability, and maybe you didn't know that, and it was actually me that spread this rumor." Instead of villainizing everyone else because you were a victim of whatever happened in your family however many years ago. But I need you guys to realize that these are the things that are happening within you. Heather says, "I would never kick someone when they're down." I mean, to be honest, I think Jen is valid in her being upset with Heather, personally.
I 100% disagree.
Okay. So we get to the situation where Heather tells Jen to throw Angie's bag in.
And she was kidding.
She was kidding, but that's like joking to like a I mean, I know she's not a toddler, but that's like joking to a toddler and not expecting the toddler to actually do it.
100%.
So low key, malicious intent, Heather. If it was anyone else, no, I wouldn't think so.
I think it was literally because I would be like the same way, sitting there with the friends, like, I'll just throw that bitch's shit over there. Like, joke, 100%, no malicious intent, nothing. Jen, no, not for real. And even that's why she's even trying to grab Whitney's shoes after she put her own shoes back on. Like, I don't think there's any malicious intent in that. Beyond your basic girly nonsense.
Right, like Mean Girls. The girls get off the boat. Well, after Jen continuously showing who you are, lying. I didn't throw it. I didn't just be real about it, girl. Just be real.
Own up to it. You a bad bitch throwing people's $1,000 shoes in the ocean. Own up to it.
Mm-hmm. Period. And you slept in that car purposely. So the girls leave the boat. They come back to the house to get dressed. Jen stays in the van. Did it purposely. Attention. Just wanting attention. I forget. Did we look up her sign? I'm nervous to see what her sign is because low key, I'm like, my nephew better not turn out like this because he be doing this little temper tantrum thing right now, and it just is giving Jen Shaw. But she did that on purpose. She wanted someone to either come out to check on her, or, and this is like, if she's a Gemini, this is what she
It's a Libra.
Oh.
I don't know what that means, but
the usually like very clean out front, very like put together, but like mentally unstable within.
Oh geez.
But they like say like we're so balanced, but you're always trying to be perfect and balanced that it drives you fucking crazy. I know it's a like rub off of a Virgo, but anyways, I feel like with Jen, she was like in that car, and I feel like in her mind, she said, I'm drunk. I'm going to just lay here. And when I wake up, everything's going to be forgotten. Delusional, like legit delusional. And what does she do? Just that. She shows up in a Polynesian gown with a crown. And yeah. So yeah, they go to dinner, then we see the dancing and they do drums. I thought Meredith and Lisa dancing were hilarious.
But I love that Meredith admitted, she's like, I'm a 50-year-old woman with no hips and no ass, and I'm white. Like, I don't do this.
Well, it's funny because Meredith was low-key giving the Wednesday Addams. Just dance. All right, and then we get the Fun Please strippers.
What was the strippers about? Like, that felt very out of place and random. Like, we're having a Polynesian party with flames and hula dancers.
Yeah, because honestly, I'll tell you, that one Polynesian dancer, there was one man, and he was fine.
You know, they were sexy.
He was really cute.
When the strippers came in, I was like, I don't get it.
I felt like it was Jen's way of like just being crazy, and then also like, remember Atlanta when they had what's his name, Bolo or whatever? Like, I just felt like it was like, we'll get strippers and men, and like it's just such a Jen Shaw thing. And so these guys show up, and they were all right. And I mean, you know, like probably on the cheaper end.
Whitney got her leg all up in the air. I was like, girl, aren't you married?
Couldn't wait.
You want a little too much, sis. Too much. Kissed
by a rose on a plane. Jen says boo to Lisa for not having fun. Lisa's saying, and again, this just shows the personality. Lisa goes on to say that the strippers are dirty. That is so degrading. Like, first of all, we get it. You're not cheating on your husband, and maybe you're more in your head because that there were cheating allegations, and that's why you were trying to be so dismissive of this. But like, these aren't like, and maybe they are escorts, whatever, we don't know what their thing is, but they were only here to dance. They didn't just come from like, they're not porn stars. They didn't just come from like fucking somebody and now they're here like, yeah, like these are human beings, not like disgusting to touch, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just that it's like, it just like in that sense, I could kind of see Whitney, like, girl, I could imagine how long it was taking and uncomfortable it probably was. Like the strippers are like, why'd you guys hire us if no one's gonna do anything? And Whitney and Whitney was just like, okay, just whatever, dance on me.
And I was surprised Heather didn't participate. Like, Heather's the single one. Like, why was she not involved?
Yeah, that's very true. The only man I have eyes for is my husband. Girl, no one is asking you to have sex with these people. Fucking weirdo. Dana then brings up the argument with Jen. And she basically says that Jen's not nice to the girls. And Jen says, like who? It's like, so tired. It's like, Jen, how many times are we going to have this fucking conversation? But here's the thing. The fact that when Jen gives you that answer, you feel the need to continue the conversation. You deserve the energy that comes at you. You deserve the wrath of Shaw. Personally, you deserve it. Because, bitch, what? Have you been here for the last 2 weeks, girl?
Really not.
I know you're going through it, but
I'm almost about to give Dana, whatever the hell her name is, a pass and be like, okay, I don't hate having her around because I thought she looked pretty on the boat, and the energy when they came in, like asking about what happened, I was like, okay, Dana, I'm on your team. And then we're at this dinner, and I was like, Dana, fail. Like, I don't know why you are inserting. Well, I do know why. You want to be on TV and you want camera time. But your insertion of yourself into that entire like debate that started about Jen and friends, and then it went to Lisa, and then it went to Heather. I was just like, girl, get out. You should just be the memes on the side. Like, we should be looking at your face and hearing your side comments. Like, why are you forcing the like hatred to yourself?
Literally, because she literally says, I just feel really uncomfortable around you. Then why are you here?
Exactly.
Because you want to be on TV.
You want to be on TV. And I'm just like, you're messing up your TV. Like, we want to enjoy you, like, watching the fight through your eyes as the outsider. Like, girl, you could be cackling on the side, giving us some side eye, making some comments, like throwing in a little shade every once in a while, but like, don't be putting yourself in the middle of fights between hoes that you don't even deal with, like, or know the story for real behind.
Well, so then Dana tells Jen that Heather wouldn't choose Jen if she gave her an ultimatum, and Jen was like, well, what do you mean? And Dana goes on to tell her how she went to lunch with Angie, and Angie basically said, when asked about the apology that Angie and her husband said they would give to Jen, that when Angie asked her legal representative, they said absolutely not, and they will not be publicly announcing that they did this. And obviously that set Jen off. They said that they don't want to be associated with, they shouldn't be associated with Jen. So basically we're getting a little bit of like kind of what happened with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, with the whole Erica kind of thing. Heather says she never told Angie to do a public apology, because then by her saying that, she's owning up to something that is unforgivable. Now, here's why I just can't rock with Heather. Like, here's why I can't fully rock with Heather. Because, again, fucked up that they're not going to apologize. Do I understand the legal team? Yes. But then I also question it because I'm like, well, you already said on camera, like, it's very much publicly known that you did this. I don't need a written consent because you're on camera verbally confirming.
But apologizing is still its own thing.
That's true. Very true. Okay. So But then my thing with Heather is this sentence. I would never tell Angie to do a public apology, because then she's owned up to the fact that she did something that's unforgivable. But
Makes no sense.
She's already owned up to it.
Makes no sense.
She's already owned up to something that you feel, like you just said, is unforgivable. So
she's talking out of her ass.
And I'm just trying to figure out what this hold on this situation is, on Angie or Jen. Like, I'm just trying to figure that out, really.
Well, I feel
because
like
none of these other girls have to stop being friends with Angie. It's only Heather.
That's the point. And I think that the issue is that Jen and Heather, to a degree, hold each other in different regard. Because Heather said earlier in the episode, everybody's asking me like why I deal with Jen and let her do this to me, blah, blah. She was like, Jen and I drink together. We have a good time. She's fun for events and blah, 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 blah. I know who she is, and that's the friend she is to me. And I don't expect anything else of her. I expect that of her. And I was just like, that makes sense to me now. And now in the situation with like the Angie and all of that sitting at the table, Heather is just pulling something out of her ass. Like, she don't know what to say. She don't care. Because in the end, Jen is who Jen is to her. And it's all of this extra. She's like, I'm not about to give up my other friend just because y'all are mad at each other and they did something wrong to you. That has nothing to do with me, and I'm not getting involved. But she's trying to explain it away constantly because people keep interrogating her about it. And I didn't like when Whitney, she's like going around the table like, well, aren't you friends? And aren't you friends? You showed up to sing with her. Why? And I'm like, Heather just she's not able to articulate herself well in a fight. Because she clearly doesn't seem to, like, she shrugs away from conflict or direct conflict and doesn't speak for herself very well. And I'm just like, girl, just say what it is. Like, bitch, you my drinking buddy. We have a good time. Angie's my homegirl for real. I'm not giving her up for you, but that doesn't mean I don't love you and hope the best for you. But I'm not changing my life because you got some bullshit going on. Period. Done and be done. All this, but you're not my ride or die. And everybody, they clearly got different definitions of ride or die. And I think that Heather has shown in the last 2 seasons that she's clearly supportive of Jen, regardless. But she's not blind to who Jen is.
And that's what Heather needs to start saying.
She needs
being
to say
real.
it.
I am not ride or die, Jen. I'm sorry, I'm not. I know we joked about that, and unfortunately, this is going to be a Cynthia and Nene moment, and I'm going to have to rip the paper up,
the friend contract up. But I think that in Heather's mind, ride or die is that I'm still your girl. Like, I'm not going to shun you because of what's going on. That makes me ride or die.
No, Heather very much is aware of what Jen's mentality of ride or die is. And I know Angie knows the same exact thing. You just aren't friends with that kind of person. It's like, I obviously can't say names on here, but would name you. I would compare you to somebody else and tell you those 2 names, and you would understand the situation right there and there. Okay, but I wrote that this group of women deflects more than any other cast, right? I said that earlier.
Wow.
And this table is what had started that whole thought process for me. So like you said, it's Heather arguing with Jen. So then Heather, instead of wanting to like just boldly say like, Jen, I don't want to be your fucking friend, or we aren't that close, girl. Like, instead she then throws it to Dana and Angie, and she says that they're involving themselves in business that doesn't involve them. And again, Heather, you guys brought these people into this. They were never here. They were never here. So yes, they're involving themselves because now they're here because you let them in. And
where did Dana come from? I don't know. Who's she?
Dana is friends with Meredith and I believe Heather. Meredith and Heather. And
okay.
and the other Angie.
Because I'm like, oh, child. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Angie gets me. They're equal. They're the same person to me, actually, in this. So she deflects it onto Dana and Angie. And then that didn't work. So then Heather's initial reaction was to, well, you threw her shoes overboard. And it was just, instead of having the conversation, it was trying to point out her issue with everyone else, to the point that then it turned back to Lisa and Jen going at each other. Because Lisa now didn't want to understand that, well, why are you coming at me now? You guys say you're friends 60% of the time, and that it doesn't make sense. And then Jen saying that I don't remember even pushing you. Jen saying she doesn't remember anything that happened on.
So full of it. It's disgusting. It's so. And it's so, sorry guys, my dog is losing her crap. People are in my hallway.
It's just,
right now.
This is an obsession with being Jen's friend.
It's crazy, but I do appreciate that Lisa Barlow brought up the whole like Jen in the hot tub with everybody saying that Heather's not her real friend and is only 60-40 and all of this stuff that she was saying behind Heather's back, when she's sitting here mad at Heather for being not what she thought she would be. Like, you're not being the friend that you claim to be to me either, because you talking all frauds about me behind my back and telling them I'm not shit. So you all suck. But in the end, I appreciate that Lisa was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And she just got up about her business. And I'm glad that Heather got up and was like, then find you another Heather Gay, because she's terrible at defending herself and arguing, but I don't think she's entirely wrong. But I think when she shows up wrong, it's because she's uncomfortable doing the defense that she needs to do and saying as bluntly what she needs to say to Jen.
Agreed. And now that you've been on TV, I need you to get it together, because you're too old for this. And I have more faith in you than that. Like, I'm harder on Heather because I don't believe she's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I can only go in on Jen so much, because it's just like,
yeah, I think that Heather is sane, but I also think some people can't and don't deal well with conflict, like in direct confrontation.
But then you shouldn't be on reality TV. This is the
absolutely
wrong.
You should, because when you're with a psychopath like Jen and you can't deal with conflict, that makes for great TV.
It does, but until next season when Jen's off this show, and I'm like, what is this show going to be next season?
I can't even speak to that, because I don't see how they're going to have. I feel like it's going to be like a Teresa Giudice situation where they need to not have a show until Jen is out, but because Jen is going down for like doing like a 12-year bid or something, we're never going to have Salt Lake again.
Damn, bring Mary Cosby back.
I'm glad we got a few clips of Mary Cosby in this episode, because I miss her.
I do too. Honestly, I loved her craziness. We're going to get in the future some Beach Olympics, Heather versus Jen, Heather versus Whitney, and then Heather with the black eye, which I think is over dramatic. All right, let's get into Miami. All right, if you haven't watched it yet, I advise just stop right here, go watch them, and then come back and join us. And by the time you come back, I'll have bookmarked the video, and you can just click to where you left off. Because I don't want to spoil anything. So here's your moment, if you haven't watched yet, to come watch it tomorrow.
There's so much.
It's so much, but it's so good. I'm so excited.
We have to discuss it like on situations, because like
no, I actually did a really good job of kind of flushing it out. All right, so we start out, the first episode basically was this build up between Lisa. Basically the first 4 episodes are this build up between Lisa and Larsa. So Lisa, now remember the reunion of last season where Larsa felt like Lisa didn't stick up for her, and Lisa felt like, I didn't even feel like it was a place for me to even voice myself. So apparently they haven't spoke since that. So this is where we start, and we get this build up of them basically talking. Well, Larsa wasn't really talking about Lisa. I felt like it was more Lisa feeling nervous about Larsa, because Larsa has a new place in Miami Beach, and she is having this new beginnings party, which is the most Instagram model type of party. But I love Larsa, so, and honestly, I think I've loved Larsa even more this season. So we get this new beginnings party, which Larsa is doing two things. So before the party, she's inviting people up to come see her home. She didn't invite Julia because she's a weirdo, which 1,000,000% agree. And fair enough, honestly. And it took me up until this season to like really like, I've always kind of thought she was odd, but like, I forget what she did. We'll get to it later, but I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't invite that bitch into my house either. And Adriana, she said she's a wild card, which to her, I agree.
Wow, she is.
All right. So Larsa's new spot though is very much giving 1010 Wilshire in LA.
Right?
And the basic drama from this show is starting off of Lisa making a comment. Now they're all going to go to Larsa's party. And when they find the building, Lisa looked it up. And this is going to stem into my whole thing. I truly do believe Lisa has an obsession with Larsa. I think that she wants to, like, remember I was telling you about that girl, like being that girl? Larsa is that girl. It's just she's pretty, she's, you know, even tempered, you know what I mean? She can be placed in a room and she's probably going to gain attention, or she probably wouldn't leave the room being disliked, right? She's just that girl. And I feel like Lisa's beautiful. I think Lisa's gorgeous, but there's this like desperate kind of, oh, like, oh my God, for my birthday, I got, you know, this watch. Oh, it's so funny. I have like 3 of those too. Like, look at all 3 of mine. It's like, girl, what? Yeah. No one was asking about that at all. So Lisa makes this comment that Larsa's staying in a place where hookers, criminals, and OnlyFans models are known to. She saw it on a blog. I just saw that this is where she's staying.
And drug dealers.
Hookers and drug dealers. Which then before the party, she says, and it is so funny how she tried to clear this up. Oh, I don't want this to get back to anyone. But how funny is this? It's not hookers and drug dealers that live in the building. I can't believe I said that. Hookers and criminals. It wasn't that. It's just OnlyFans people. Like, it's still offensive.
Yeah, it is. Because in the end, it is still choice real estate in Miami and very highly priced. And Larsa, as she said, paid for her house or her penthouse. So stop hating, Lisa.
Oh.
But Kiki, girl, you didn't have to do that.
Oh. Kiki, do you love me? And Kiki spilled all her tea. She spilled all her tea right to Larsa, which, now, fair enough. Lisa didn't tell Kiki not to say anything.
Well, she did ask her to please let her be the one to say it. I think that happened off camera because they talk about that when they're like fighting back and forth. And Kiki was like, yeah, but I felt a way about Larsa being my friend for real. And I'm not saying to her. So I get it, Kiki, but girl, you know you have to do that.
No. And then Larsa says, I don't know, where should we get that from? This building's all Harvard men in finance guys. I'm like, girl, Ricky did not look like a finance man. I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Like, that's a part, like, girl, Lisa, you're probably not totally wrong, but you were saying it shadily to shade her and what she's doing. So
right, because honestly, it probably is an influencer building because a lot of people, you know, they make a lot of money, so they like to live around. They like to be around each other.
They need the views, like, because they're filming content and stuff, and she's got great views. So yeah, it makes sense.
So we get to the pre-party. The girls are coming in. We see Gertie, Alexia. They have their own little drama because of which we'll get into that. But basically, then this turns into Lisa walking in, and Larsa says, "Welcome to the hood." And here's my thing. Like, look, is Larsa petty? Yes.
Yes.
She's petty. But here's my thing. I low-key in this situation am on Larsa's side because the reality is I genuinely, from this season, what I get is that Larsa is in a good place in her life. I think that she genuinely is happy for herself. And I think that that's why we're seeing her and Gertie clicking a lot in these first 4 episodes because they're both in the same mindset. Gertie's getting, I don't know what the full extent of her being Vogue's #1 wedding planner with that, if that's like Vogue or like Teen Vogue or like Vogue.com.
Pretty sure it was like Vogue. Like, or even if it's Vogue.com, like that's no joke. Like her weddings and her event planning is no joke.
Okay.
Like she's not, that's not some bullshit for housewivesness.
Okay, well then, because we'll get to Alexia in a little bit.
Well, that's an interesting conversation. Yes.
Right. So my thing is with Larsa is they're in these places in their lives where they've been through bullshit and now they're just focused on themselves right now. Like they're not worried about like the outside drama. So if you're bringing that to them, like Larsa said, like I'm gonna bite back. I'm not gonna bark back. I'm gonna bite back. And I think that the problem with this is Larsa extending the invitation to you was her way of saying, look, let bygones be bygones. Like, I love you. I want you to be here. Whatever. And then to hear like, wait, you were just talking shit about where I live, because whether you think it's a joke or not, it is a shady joke. And if y'all are not on good terms with each other, what would you expect from that? And you know that it was wrong because that's why you went off. And that's why you snapped when all she said was your mortgage. She didn't say how much you charge for your house to be rented out.
You were below, like you were behind on your mortgage. She just said you rent your house out to pay your mortgage.
Which would be a smart thing. If you have a beautiful piece of land and you could have people shoot music videos, I was looking for a live workspace to where I could rent out for photo shoots and it would pay my whole rent.
But apparently amongst that level of rich people, it is offensive to have a mortgage.
I just don't think Lisa understands what a mortgage is, personally.
Well, I think at first I was thinking that, but I think she's not totally unclear. Because when she has the conversation later with Lenny, like she clearly knows more than I expected, because I thought she was like real just dumb as rocks and like had no clue. But in the end, clearly that has nothing to do with what Larsa said. It has everything to do with what you're going through.
Right. And then now Larsa did push it again, but because you were pushing her continuously. Because honestly, right when she said the first thing, you should have snapped like, wait, why is she taking it this hard? And then you should have explained the story, said, this is what I saw. And then I realized that I was wrong when I saw that. And then I know how it still is offensive. And I'm sorry because I love you. And then we go drink and carry on. Because Larsa wanted it to end. She kept being like, all right, look.
And that's what my appreciation for Larsa is. She definitely just be like, can we go on and party? Like, I'm trying to live a happy life. Like, I ain't trying to fight with you hoes.
Now, my conspiracy. I think this was fake. I think that this is why I think it's fake. I feel like when you're friends with somebody, and I feel like they are probably very close in real life enough to create this. I just thought it was really interesting when they cheersed. Like after they said they were done and all this stuff, they cheers, and Larsa said to new beginnings. And Lisa looked off at the camera, like not off at the camera, but she looked off, and then she looked back at Larsa and she said, yeah, new beginnings in hell. And I was just like, what kind of conversation is that? Like, you're trying to like heal and like be better people, and like you guys, this is the girl that you've been talking about, you miss her so much, you just squashed whatever it is, now she wants to be your friend again, and now you're talking about we're gonna start hell. So which made me think, like, did they know that this was happening with Lenny maybe, and this was their way to kind of cause controversy so that it leads into, I don't know, I just felt it just gave me setup vibes, this whole them, and also Lisa carrying this conversation on Larsa, because I don't know, I just don't fully believe it. I do believe that Lisa is in pain. I do believe that, but I don't see her doing this repeatedly with Larsa. I don't know, unless she just genuinely wanted to tell her. But it looks like she's going to act fully surprised by this. And I also don't like that Bravo showed us this, personally, because I really would have liked to have seen the dinner with Lisa and Lenny without knowing what's going to happen. Because I would have liked to have known if I genuinely would have thought he looked annoyed through the whole dinner. And
Yeah.
I just feel like if I didn't know that piece of information, would I have read that same feeling?
Well, I think it's tough because I don't really blame. I think Bravo just had to lean into what existed on public record. Like when he filed for divorce, that's public record. It's in the tabloids before the show comes out. So
Right.
It's not like, yeah. But in terms of rolling back to the conspiracy that all of that was fake or staged, I mean, it's possible. Obviously, it's reality TV. Anything's possible. But the reason I would lean that it wasn't is because once Lisa was clearly slightly inebriated, she's one of them girls that got to keep bringing shit up. Like how Gertie was like running around hiding from her at every part, like when they were trying to party, and like she kept bringing it up, and they did the like sequence of how many times she
Right.
brought it up in the course of the night. I'm like, oh, you're one of those girls. So you're actually the one that claims to be over stuff, but will keep bringing it up and wants the friend group to be on your side. So you keep pulling them separately. Like when they're trying to like coddle you and like make sure you're okay. Cause Gertie tried to make sure she was okay before they went upstairs. And then they went to the bathroom trying to make sure she's okay. And like, still you kept saying the same thing over and over and over again. And I just don't think they're good enough actors for that to not have been mostly legit.
Fair enough. We saw Julia and Andrea showed up with an olive branch. Dramatic. Jill's Shazarin was randomly there, which I thought that was... And we got nothing from that other than her being here. The girls, like you said, kept wanting her to move on. She just would not. So the party ends. Whatever. Some other things we got from that episode was... or actually this is the start of the next one, was Nicole and Anthony are planning an engagement party. And I like Anthony. I like him. I think he's like a weird, nerdy kind of cute. He said, please don't go over $100,000. She still hasn't talked to her dad. What's your whole take? Let's just do this one in a bundle. What's your whole take with Nicole, her dad, her mom saying that she's mean to her, and her having this self-realization that she needs to change and give her dad a chance? And also...
So, I want my girlfriend here. Yeah.
And also, just throw this one in there when Anthony was like, oh, and make sure Larsa stays away from the captain of our yacht. So she doesn't wreck any homes. Like, oh, not messy, Anthony.
I was like, we got a Peter Thomas in face on this Clat crew, but I wonder if that was how joking that really was, because
I don't think that was joking.
That's why I'm like,
well, no, actually, I thought it was kind of telling because I feel like he was doing it in a joking way based off a non-joke that Nicole made me have mentioned to him, and he now feels comfortably. I'm wondering if it was that, because he's new, so he doesn't really understand how this stuff could come back to him in the end.
I mean, he's been on a season before, child. He should know, but that was a little shady. But also, what you doing in them streets, Larsa, that's got somebody thinking this of you. But in terms of Nicole, just in general, like, I actually kind of feel bad for her because I understand the conflict she has with her family and this idea that, whereas I get where her mom was saying, like, you have to accept people where they are because they're going to do what they're going to do. And the only person that you can change is yourself. And when her husband noted, like, yeah, you don't answer his calls or you don't do this, like, you're hard on him. And then, but in the same vein, I still get why she's like, if I can live up to these standards, why the heck can't? Because it's not like crazy high. Like, I'm asking you not to be drunk and not have your hose around me and to show up when you say you're going to show up. So I can get how she feels like I'm not
Right.
asking for the moon. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, your dad is not a 20-year-old. Like, he is the man that he is. Most people don't change very much after a certain point in life. And if you want a relationship, you either accept what they are and place them in a position in your life and just keep that, keep the boundaries around it. But, they're going to be what they're going to be, and stop hoping for them to be different, because that's how you keep getting disappointed. So I understand that path too. I did feel bad when her mom was like, oh, and you hurt my feelings, or like sent me away, or whatever she was saying. And I was like, that sucks. But I get it. When your parents are like doing stuff and you're like, this is fucking stupid. Like, at some point, because you're an adult, even though you're still their child, you're an adult and you're watching them do stupid shit, and you have to just be like, oh, okay, mom, whatever. But you don't want to hurt your mom's feelings. Obviously, you have a good relationship and love your mom. Like, apologize and move on. But I feel like I was cool with her, like, morphing and accepting dad for who dad is, until dad said, well, if I can't bring my woman, I don't want to talk, or I don't want to show up, because I think that's crappy. I think your relationship, especially in a situation where you have had a long-term effed up situation with your daughter, I think you should be able to put your daughter first some of the time and be like, all right,
%.
I can come to the kid's birthday party and not bring my hoe with me.
Right.
Like, you should do that. But whatever. All this, oh, I deserve to be happy because I'm sober or not sober and 67 years old. Like, yes, you deserve to be happy, but like, you have a whole child that you
also deserve to be respectful.
Exactly. So, girl, parents are a struggle sometimes, I guess, is the the moral of that story.
An interesting, again, Julia weirdo, but one topic with
weirdo, she's sweet.
One topic though that I think was interesting is her in this farm. And so she has a farm. Her kids are out of the home now. And Martina is working a lot. So it's leaving Julia to go to this farm daily. She leaves in the morning, comes. So she basically wants them to sell their Miami house and go live on this farm. And she's kind of nervous because she feels that now that the kids aren't there, that there's nothing really keeping her grounded. And I'm like, if I was Martina and someone said that to me, that would hurt my feelings. But it brought me to a really interesting conversation that I had in Greece, actually, with somebody. And there's this guy, and he was saying to me that we were like talking about relationships, and there was a straight couple there, and they were saying how, they would never get a divorce and da-da. And I was like, yeah, that's the kind of relationship I want. And the other guy was like, well, it's not really, gay people aren't meant for monogamous relationships. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's not normal. And I'm like, well, one would argue that being gay is not normal, right? So whatever, but what's not normal about it? And he said, there's nothing there to hold you, to keep you in commitment. And I was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, if I say I love you and I want to be in a commitment with you, then that's the commitment. And he was like, well, no, like, the reason straight people stay together are because they get married to start a family, and they have the bond of a family, and they have kids, and so to get a divorce, there's other people now involved and things like that. And I was like, okay, I kind of get that, but then it's like, I also know, like, I have family members who their kids, as soon as they were old enough, bye, they don't be seeing them, and they in that house all by themselves, lonely little life. What's holding them? The thought that they have a kid somewhere out in the world that doesn't call or come visit them, like, or what about people that can't have kids? So but I agree with him. I think that is the mentality in the gay world, actually. That's where it's starting to move towards, like, not really be in a monogamous relationship. He was like, if you guys have properties together, you can easily split properties or sell the property. Like, you can always do it. But when a child is involved, And so then I was like, so you're basically basing monogamy on having a child. I was like, that's interesting. I've never looked at life like that personally. A commitment to me is, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I say together forever until death do us part, then that's what we do. So I thought it was interesting that Julia is here wanting more attention from Martina, but then saying she doesn't feel grounded in the house. That basically, like, Martina can't fulfill whatever this loneliness is because everything reminds her of her children. So she needs to have this. I mean, I don't know, like, girl, like, what in the escapism is going on in your mind, sis? Because she really told her girl she was bored, and I'm like, if this woman leaves you now, I hope you understand why.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those things where, like, interests are so different for a couple. And when you don't have the common interests of the kids anymore, figuring out the middle point for you guys is much more challenging. Because when Julia talks later about having wanted to have more kids, and she, to some trauma of being left, and her, comeuppance in Russia, and like whatever the hell was happening, and like not having family and support and stuff, and she wanted a big family always around her. Like, clearly there's some trauma behind her excessive emotional lack in this moment. But I think, like, it's a challenge because clearly Martina's like, I don't want to be on a damn farm. I don't care about no dang pigs and no goats, and I don't want to do this. But also, I'm in the city in this multi-million-dollar house that we've built for the last 4 years, and it's empty. And this brings me no joy as Julia because you're gone most of the time.
Right, true.
So there has to be some kind of. So in that regard, I get Julia's, like, I guess, her pain. But I also appreciate that she's able to say it, even though it felt a little bit harsh when she was like, Martina, I'm bored and I'm alone and you're gone and whatever. Like, I get, if I were Martina, I'd be like, bitch, calm down. You got a whole ass farm with da. But also, you don't want to. Julia seems like the person that, like, she still wants her partner, even though that's not their thing, to, like, love it too. So at least, like, show up to the farm with her when you're in town, because, like, that's what is her calling right now because the kids are gone.
Right.
So she feels purposeful when she's at the farm doing stuff. So I feel like, girl, they need to figure that out because that's about to be a whole mess.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be dark in a few episodes.
And I hope not, because I like them together and, like, it's cool, like. But
no, I genuinely do feel like Martina would suck it up and visit the farm at least once a week or something, girl.
I know, girl. Like, come to the farm at least once a week.
What's your take on the whole Gertie and Alexia situation? Which team are you on?
I really hate to say this because I have loved Alexia since they first started doing Miami. I thought she was crazy and, like, her life was insane. Like, crazy shit has happened to that woman, like, consistently. But I'm kind of seeing energy and believing what Gertie is saying, that she's the kind of friend that only calls you when they need something, and to be like 100% for them in that, no matter what else. Oh my God, my dog. Sorry, guys. No matter what. Had to yell at the dog for a second. Because the way that she kind of, like, and then the, like, slight dig at Gertie's planning skills is super offensive.
Yeah.
It's beyond offensive, because if you are Gertie's friend, you know how much that her work is her passion. It's her. Like, it's, so to be like, oh, Marisol put together my bachelorette party and it was way better than that whole, like, charity thing that you did. Like, and then it was a charity for her dead brother. Like, you're an asshole. You're not my friend. Like, you're an asshole.
Literally.
And you're just mad because I have decided not to do your next round of weddingness. which has been already going on and probably costing Gertie money because she's got to pay her team to keep working on planning these things that have to keep getting canceled or not working out. And some of that's obviously not Alexia's fault. I mean, her mom passed away, like that sucked. So I get it, but at the same time, like, you're not going to shit on what I do and then still expect me to do it for you. And then not only expect me to do it for you, but you refuse to participate in the way that I run business. Like, oh, my new planner didn't send me this long list to do. It's like, girl, everybody works different. Like, and if you want me to do my job how I do it, then follow my instructions. So
and
whatever.
also because that yacht, like, we waited 4 years, how many years for this? Like, no offense, girl, but like, we could have planned this in a week.
Yes.
Like, we didn't get a dance. We got a long speech and some fireworks. Like,
The best part was the fireworks, because honestly, it wasn't that attractively like decorated. Like, it wasn't super fabulous. Like, other than obviously it's on a multi-million-dollar beautiful yacht, but beyond that,
and the hallway with the flowers was cute. I thought that was cute.
It was cute enough, but it wasn't like spectacular. So I think it was pretty shitty for her to shit on Gertie and then turn around and still did mediocrity.
Now, see, here's the thing, because my Real Housewives of Miami, I never was into it until last season, which I caught up. And I don't really pay attention to the girls' lives outside of the show. So I didn't know anything about Lisa and Lenny. So this was so intriguing for me to watch this, like, kind of unfold. Because first of all, the first sentence of her talking about he is looking good, he's working out more, but he doesn't have stamina, but he has all this energy. I'm like, do you know what stamina is, sweetie? And then this one, we see Lenny has to stay home and watch the kids. So she's sewing up by herself to a wedding, which emotionally, that would bother me. If I was married to my man and running around like it was the happiest thing in the world and my man didn't want to go to the wedding, like, let me just watch these two happy people kiss while I'm here by myself. Sorry about it. Adrian shows up with number 2, Dr. Thierry, from last season. We saw him. And Gertie showed up. And also, another thing about Alexia was like her shading that Gertie sent her the flowers. I'm like, I thought that was very genuine of her, and like the fact that you even tried. Why would you even send me this here? Like, really?
Like, clearly, I already have flowers. So, girl, bye. Like, you're one of them people that thinks that your friend is supposed to do everything for you and like be totally concerned about you all the time. Fuck you.
And right when we think that, you know, we're here for something positive, of course, here comes Lisa talking about how she doesn't have a mortgage, and, you know, Larsa really has to understand this, and it's offensive that Larsa thinks that she has a mortgage, and it's also offensive that Larsa stole someone's husband. So this was the first. So now this is where we heard Anthony, Nicole's husband, make the comment about wrecking a home, and then now we actually have that continuation of the story being presented to Larsa. And no details were given. It was just, she kind of just threw it out there, and Larsa kind of was like, excuse me, who? But Lisa didn't say anything. Lisa feels that Larsa is punishing her from New York, but I genuinely think Lisa feels guilty. I think Lisa is going through not getting attention from her man, and she's not getting attention from who she is obsessed with. Because when she saw Larsa dancing with Adriana at Larsa's initial party, and Marisol was like, "Ooh, not you jealous," and Lisa was like kind of like, "You caught me. Like, you like her. You want to be friends with her. Like, I get it, girl. Like, she's that girl, and you like that. You want to be with a pretty girl. You want to be friends. You guys probably have a lot of interests and similarities." I think Larsa probably puts you at a little bit of a distance, because I do think she does see like the competing thing, because it comes across like you're competing with her, and it's weird. And it turns even darker, because Larsa gets upset and that she's like, "Look, I keep giving you an olive branch and you keep talking shit." Like, and then it turns to Lisa doing this walk the plank thing.
Yeah.
And to make the first joke, okay, funny. Haha. Oh, she should walk the plank thing. Okay. But then just because I don't remember who it was reacted to that and she saw that she got a reaction on that, she then started running the ship talking about
Where's the
where's
plank?
the
Where's
plank.
the
And
plank? That's so weird. I want to talk about a weirdo.
yeah, and you embarrass yourself. Like, and it's hard because it's like, I know you're hurting. Deep down now I know you're hurting. But it's like, oh girl, like you ain't even good. At least when Phaedra was hurting with Apollo, she still cut.
Yeah.
Phaedra in her depression, she still knew how to play the game, but not you, Miss Lisa.
But Lisa's not that bright. She's not the brightest cookie in the box.
Yeah. And then she starts bragging to Larsa about the price of her home. No one spoke about finances. Literally no one. Larsa never brought up finances. Larsa never made it seem like you were broke. Larsa never said you were broke. She never insinuated anything about you not having your own money. You did that. And then she was like, saw it bothered you. And she wanted to get understand, yeah, you get everything from Lenny. And then you felt some sort of way, probably because there might be a little truth into that.
There's definitely truth in it. That's why it's like, girl, stop. You know Lenny pays for everything. You ain't had no job. You ain't got no job for real, other than the Miami Housewives. And probably the reason you on Miami Housewives is because Lenny's trying to get rid of you, and you know he is. And he's like, oh, she's got income now. Perfect. Put her out.
Yep. Larsa ends up giving her a rose, and Lisa was just so happy that she's back in the good graces of Larsa. And again, because you're really depressed that Lenny's running around with some girl, and which we're going to see in 2 weeks. So we get off the yacht party, or the wedding. I hate even calling it a wedding because
it wasn't a wedding. It was a party.
Yeah.
They said it's not a wedding.
Now, I do love Larsa, but I do hate that she has this dog, King.
Why?
Because I feel like Larsa is a busy woman. And I just feel like
you're not taking King out for real.
Yeah. Like I do think that Larsa loves that dog. I think Larsa would probably be an amazing animal mother in the way that she cares about him. But I feel like you need a smaller dog. I feel like women, I hate to say it, or people like you know, for me, I had a smaller dog. I want a big dog, but I know I can't have that dog until I'm not traveling as much, until I have like a place with a yard and things like that, because that's a big ass dog to have in an apartment. And as someone who had an ex with a Great Dane, it was a lot. It was just a lot, and I don't know.
I mean, in her defense, though, her penthouse is twice the size of an average.
She has 2 dogs.
Yes, but she's got over 4,000 square feet of space. Like, this is not like your average apartment building. Like, I'm just in an apartment. 4,000 square feet is a lot of space, especially for a dog. It just sucks there isn't like an outdoor yard area for them. But they're also poodles? What was that? Labradoodle?
Like something like
look
that.
Like a poodle or a labradoodle, whatever. And you know she has help. Somebody takes them dogs out. She ain't walking them dogs.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out who this dog trainer is, because I'm like,
honey, she flew him out. You'll find him when you get here.
And now here's my thing. If I would, like I always say, I feel like I'd be friends with Larsa in real life. This would be the man that I'd be like, girl, this is probably who you need to start talking to. He's
a regular guy.
Just a regular guy. He shows up. He ain't, impressed by the whoop whoop whoop. He's just here. He's clearly good at discipline. So it's good parental. Good for know what I mean. He's got a job. I mean, I thought he was cute personally, but
he's not tall enough. She likes really tall guys.
Girl, and look what they do to you. Look what happens. But she's dating Michael Jordan's son now, I think. From what I see.
Yeah, that's the final word is him right now. Get it, girl. He's like 32.
Yep. All right, but so all this leads to her having a dog birthday party. We get to the beach, and the girls don't think Lisa. Basically, the girls are saying like, "Look, Lisa, you probably don't know what a mortgage is, and you probably don't know
You probably don't understand
what's going on." And because basically, let Lisa tell it. She's the accountant in the family. She's doing all the numbers.
You paid all the bills, all of them.
And you're not, and that's okay. You couldn't even open the wine door. But
Which, side note, can we talk about that wine cellar for a moment? That was nice.
it was cute. It gave me Charisse's champagne fridge.
Her champagne room, but that was nice. It was very spacious.
It was. I need to see the inside of it though, because I didn't know if I actually loved it or not. It was impressive from far away, but then when she was like up at the door, I was like, actually, I want to see what that would look like inside. But I mean, hey, it's a little too big for me. I wouldn't want a wine room in my house like that. But maybe I would like it like Charisse's personally. Okay. Another like side conversation in the show. I agree though with Alexia about her son's girlfriend.
Oh, heck yeah.
I think that as her son, it's like you should be thankful that your mother cares. Like, because a lot of people's moms don't care. And then this girl could call the cops on you again, could scam you. You know what I mean? Like I was you in a situation where my ex was trying to get me away from friends and family. So this happens in life. So your mother's doing her job because that's what a loving mother would do. She's supporting you. Clearly the girl showed up on the party.
Yeah.
But now she needs to be that barrier for you of like, no, you don't just get him again because he's got a soft heart and clearly he likes you. But no, Mama Bear gonna be here. So I fuck with her for that. And I think that she shouldn't feel guilty about that, which I think she kind of does feel a little guilty because she doesn't want to feel like she's coming in between her son or anyone. But it's like, that's a tough situation because domestic abuse lasts on people's shit for a while. Like,
and he has had multiple run-ins with the law in the past.
right.
So this is also not something he needs to be happening in his life at all.
Let's see. Lenny looks so over Lisa. Oh, so we got the Lisa. She sets up this dinner date thing, and
my heart. Oh,
now see again. I didn't know the tabloid stuff, so I'm watching this pure. So when I'm watching this scene, I was like, I wish they didn't tell us that he was cheating, because I really, now it's hard for me to watch it and not know that he like is beyond done with this girl. And it just would have been an interesting one last time to kind of have that mystery in my head. But now that you're like, this has been known, I'm like, well, look at me late to the party. Sorry. And as they're at this dinner though, the nanny is taking a shower and apparently falls in the shower and breaks her wrist. Well, mind you, that's just what one of the helpers at the house, they came out and they were like, she broke her wrist in the shower. Like, broke her wrist? Like, first of all, and this is what I felt like Lenny was more so getting mad at Lisa. It's like, legally, we have cameras here, and this woman just came out talking about someone broke a body part on our property. She did not break a body part, so we are not calling 911, because if you call 911, then it's an incident for real that happened here at this house.
But also, a broken arm, you take yourself to the emergency room. Like, he's not wrong. Like,
right.
911 is like, because somebody is
okay,
like,
but do you think his anger fully came from just being like, girl, it's just a broken arm, or also like you're making this into a bigger thing? I felt like legally he was like, because if 911 comes, they have to put that in a record someplace that this happen here. And we don't, I mean, maybe they trust their nanny. I don't know. I would think if he's a big time doctor and this woman run out here talking about broke a wrist, ma'am, are you a surgeon? How do you know she broke it? Like, you using language here in front of these cameras.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I don't know.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, you got that much money, your ass is covered for injury on your property. Like, I don't think
true.
I think he was mostly irritated. Well, number one, he's already clearly just irritated with Lisa in general. You saw it when she couldn't open the wine fridge and then went up to the door and he was like, bitch, you about to break the door, stop. So I think that's just like a consistent thing. Like, and don't get me wrong, Lisa is annoying. Like, she's not the brightest person. So I think when he told her, and he's already probably fairly misogynist to begin with, he's like, bitch, I told you once, do not call the ambulance. Just call this girl Uber and she's fine. And he's a whole doctor. Like, and then for her to still be like, I think I'm just going to call. And then the chefs.
Oh.
She was like, what do you call? He was like, yeah, I called the police. But I'm like, the chef is gonna say what, you're in the room. Like, he's not gonna be like, no,
and my thing is like, but then you felt comfortable. Like, this is low key, I'm Team Lenny in this situation. Like, I'm a doctor and I just told you not to do this, and you gonna ask the chef, the cook?
Exactly. And I think
and then you went with what he said.
You went with the chef confirming you instead of what I'm telling you, which is why he came back around the corner like, girl, do not call 911. Like, stop wasting people's time. 911 does not need to be called for a broken arm. So yeah, I mean, obviously
but here's my thing. If this divorce, that obviously she'll get money because they have kids, but
well, apparently not, honey, because that's part of the dramas. He done kicked her out the house. The house is not like, how she got 2 small children.
And they're his children, right?
Yes, they're his kids. And that's their family home. And when do you see, unless there's a money situation where you need to sell the house for the divorce, women kicking you out of the family house? He told her she need to go find somewhere to live. And she had to struggle to find somewhere to live. I think they're still like fighting over who will get that house.
And that's my thing with it. That's what's hard about this, is because, you know, obviously I don't want this to happen to anybody, but like, you look at someone like an Erica and Tom, it's like, Erica, I feel like she's handling herself. She's always going to be good. Lisa, though, I'm scared. I don't see her fending for herself personally. Not like, it makes me kind of really nervous for her, like, mental stability and for those children now.
But she did say she got with Lenny, I think that she was 21. I don't know if she finished college or even went to college. Like, I don't know. She seems like the cute girl that got some big titties and went looking for a rich man and found one that happened to not be substantially older than her, so it wasn't super gross. So
she'll get something of it. There's no way. I can't see her walking away with nothing.
She will definitely not walk away with nothing, but there's a big difference between...
I mean, she's not getting the house. Sorry, girl. You probably aren't getting that house.
And in the end, you probably can't afford to upkeep that house. So you probably shouldn't want it. But I understand the heart attachment. Like, this is supposed to be your family house that y'all like put together, built, and did all of this for your family. You finally have your family. And now this nigga about to be like, move out and bring his new hoe in.
And it's like the editing now that you say it too, like when Nicole and what's her name were in the pool and they're like, oh, this property is just gorgeous. Like, could you imagine? It's just gorgeous. Like, just the editors buttering it up to tear it all down. All right. So again, the obsession that Lisa has with Larsa is Lisa is now planning what she was calling a New Beginning Part 2 party, but then she changed it to a Good Vibes party. And at this Good Vibes party, we hear how everyone knows that Lenny likes strippers and single people at his parties, and Lisa likes friends and family. Alexis tells Adriana that Marisol heard about Dr. Thierry, and this is gonna obviously blow up eventually, probably a few episodes down from now. I don't think Marisol's gonna give two shits about it. She's gonna be like, girl,
Like, ain't my fault he married.
ain't my fault, and you know you wasn't doing nothing with that for real. Then Larsa talks about what she like. This is where she gets into that, like, I like tall guys, and I'm not. Larsa, I love you, but you are toxic. We all have to understand that we all carry toxicity within ourselves, and it is our jobs to continue to recognize that and remove that toxicity, because what's that thing? It's like, do it once, shame on them. Do it twice, shame on you. Let me read this sentence because I wrote it word for word of what she said. She said, I want a really good looking guy so that whenever I get mad at him, I'll just look at him and I'll see how cute he is, and then I won't be mad anymore. And it's just like, that's the world we live in. Like, that is the mentality right now, like, low key. And I get it because I go back and forth. Like, this is why I had to delete Tinder. I literally had to delete Tinder because it got to a point where I was like scrolling, and it was like I wouldn't even read your name, your profile. I'm just looking off the initial picture, just like already like, no, I already know, no, to the point where it was so numbing that I was just like, this is rude. Like, these are like people. Like, I'm just sitting here like, disposable. Like, maybe the what you're physically attracted to, Larsa, is not what you need. Maybe it's just something that you want. And maybe it's not what you need, but you could find something, but maybe it's not a basketball player. Maybe they're not an athlete. Maybe they are just, you can find a fine ass tall man at the grocery store, or not the grocery store, but I'm just saying, like, in the world. He don't gotta be a celebrity. And I feel like there's this thing about, once you have some sort of status, you have to find a man with an above status, and you can't get a regular guy or whatever, because it's like you just said, you make your own money, you do all this stuff, so why just not find a guy that makes his own money? He's doing his own thing, and he's okay with you showing your feet on whatever. Like, once you get a celebrity, the power is, well, you over there showing your feet? Yeah, I was over here fucking these girls. Like, oh.
I don't know. I do think, obviously, she's special, but there is something to be said for, once you do have some level of notoriety, celebrity, whatever, the challenges that come with, as much as you might actually want and be okay with the regular guy, especially, I will only say in heterosexual male-female relationships, it ain't a lot of dudes that can deal with that. That's regular dudes. And be in a healthy relationship.
Right, because I am, like, realistically, like, what's she gonna date? Like a firefighter? Like,
the male ego is definitely its own thing.
What would that even look like? You know? So, I don't know. Then we got the other thing from this party was Lisa talking about how she put her dog down, which was so sad.
It was so sad, and he was only 9.
And also within this, that she really made it about Lenny. It's just sad because he did cry, but fuck Lenny. Fuck, ain't no sympathy for Lenny. Sorry, Lenny. Not you kicked a woman out of the house like that. What in the Tyler Perry?
Your children's mother, which means you are kicking your children out of the house. That is not okay.
Giving Jill Scott from, what was that movie called?
Oh, How Did I Get Married? Or Why Did I
Get Married? What did she say? Bring her dog down. Sensitive arguments between the girls are stupid, and invites the girls to the Florida Keys. So now she's just realized, now the dog's passed, and she's like, all this arguing, the walking the plank, like, it's just so petty. I'm beyond it. And this is actually what scared me about Lisa, is you're low-key so obsessed with Larsa, and now I think psychotic, that you planned the exact same party that Larsa planned, but you want to be the center of it. And like I low key feel like you made this into a thing so you could ruin Lars's for that new beginning party because you weren't a part of it. You weren't the friend that, like, I know that sounds really crazy, but like I'm telling you, this was really weird to me for her to change the name from New Beginning Part 2 to Good Vibes, and then her wanting them to be like the death of the dog, and then we all need to be on a trip. It's like me. It's giving Jen Shaw, me, like, crack, come on, I need my fix. Like, it's giving that.
Well, she definitely needs her fix because clearly her husband is not even trying to give her any kind of fix.
No,
so
and
let her get whatever attention she can get, child.
Yes, and because then we see her husband not really wanting to be at the party, and then this guy Vito shows up. Now here's the other part, because I'm like, Lenny knew what he was doing. I think he knew what he was doing. He knew he was still mic'd, and he knew what that meant. Oh,
go ahead, finish.
Well, what I really didn't like is that the child was still in the room. That really bothers me because I think that now that I am around like my nephews and like watching a child be raised, it's like, do not ever expect. There are too many times where I have felt comfortable like, oh, he's not listening to me or he's not doing this, and they are. And so I just feel like, bro, that's low. Like, first of all, the fact that you're even having this conversation with somebody on the property of this and this show is happening is insane to me. But second, you're doing it in the room with your son. Third, another person, a third party, was more concerned about the child being in the room than you were. So there's that. And then him basically saying that he hasn't slept with Lisa, and the Vito was like, why not? He said, well, I feel like then I'd be cheating on the person that I really love.
Ooh, child.
I mean, way to burn.
And I don't know. I have a feeling that because he's so comfortable doing this on camera, the things that he has probably actually said to Lisa in the privacy of their home are probably 10 times worse. So if I was Lisa, and I get it, girl, it's an $80 million house. You live in a real fancy, good life. But there is no way on God's green earth that a man gonna tell me my husband can't sleep with me because he feel like he cheating on his hoe. Get out. You would not be kicking me out. I would have done called the police on you.
Yep.
Get out of my house. We will figure this out some other time, but I don't want you. I don't want you no more. Like, no, bye. Absolutely not. Like, I know it's gonna hurt, Lisa girl, but I hope you are getting through this real strong, because the way that man talked about you on camera is just beyond. It's beyond.
And felt like, so comfortable, because I'm like, again, I've worked in reality, so at least they know when they have their microphones on. They're they can't wait to take them off. They're never just like, oh, I forgot this microphone was. That's why even the Lisa Barlow thing in Salt Lake, maybe she was just like psycho. She might be psychotic and on pills.
I mean, she probably had a break psychotically, but you still knew you were mic'd. You just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, but like these guys, especially these two types of characters, it's like you easily could have just walked over to the microphone person. Like, basically, like at a house situation like this, there's a table outside and someone you constantly go to get your battery changed. You could have easily walked down and been like, oh, well, I'm done filming, and given that in, but you wanted that I think you wanted that on camera, and that is messy. And I'm like, I'm not the house husbands of Miami are the messiest.
The audacity, okay? Like, and he cannot, because I would think on some level, like, usually the men, like, especially in his case, he has a business, like, he's a surgeon, like, whatever. You don't want to look bad on TV for your business alone. Like, even if you don't give a shiznat about your family and your wife, like, at least you don't want people like, oh, I'm not going to go to him. He's a piece of shit.
Right.
Like, and it's just bizarre to me, like, what was so bad in your relationship with Lisa that got you to be that cruel? Because that's cruelty.
Yep. It's almost like well, I mean, he said, and this is what it was actually. There was one line that I was like, I didn't understand how he said it. So he says, well, I may be single soon too. He says she can do anything and he just is expected to go to work and come home.
Yeah, that was confusing.
But he didn't say she. He said, yeah, it's like you can go do anything you want all day, but then it like I didn't know if he was saying she goes and does whatever she wants, which is what I was assuming he was basically saying.
Yeah.
But then I was confused because it's like, well, everyone has this picture in their mind of you doing whatever you want, like a party man. I don't know. But so I took it as in his mind, he's looking at her like, you think life is about you because you're on a reality show. This is what I really think it is. You're on a reality show. You think you can just, oh, everything's an excuse. I have to watch the kid because you have to go to this. I have to do this because you have to go do this for Bravo. And everything's about you. Like, I'm a fucking doctor. We're in this house because of me. And I think it's probably that is where this is going and stemming from. Again, male ego, not being happy with just the fact that you save lives. You save lives. And your wife loves you.
Well, he ain't saving lives. I'm pretty sure he's building titties because I think he's a plastic surgeon.
Well, hey, saving lives to some, you know? All right, wait. So that was basically Real Housewives of Miami, and like we going real long here. But we have two totally random topics because I just have to have this conversation. One, watch What Happens Live with Bethany. Did you watch it?
Of course.
What was your overall take? Because obviously we know Andy and Bethany are friends in real life. So I feel like he told her, I'm going to go hard on you because if I don't, people are going to act like I don't. Did you feel like he went hard on her? Do you feel like Jeff Lewis went? People were basically saying that everyone was awkward to Bethany on the show. They felt awkward for Bethany. But then there's people saying that this interview showcases that Bethany's a bitch.
Look, maybe it's just because I still like Bethany. Like, do I think she can be a bitch? Sure. But I like Bethany. I like her. I just like her. And I think Jeff Lewis is a bitch. And he can be a bitch too. And they were being bitches to each other. But I didn't feel like it was like awkward. Ooh, get us out of the room. Like we shouldn't be. I thought they are all entertained by each other. Like they all know each other. They're all cool on some level. And they also give each other shit. And I didn't feel like it was uncomfortable to watch. Ooh, God, they're so weird and it's so uncomfortable. Like, I didn't get that vibe at all. But, like, I think people come hard for Bethany. I think she is sometimes speaking out of turn and maybe not the best on some stuff. But I also think she'd be dead on a lot of stuff. And I agree. I like her. Sorry. Nobody's right and perfect 100% of the time. Like
same. And honestly, like I was looking at, I didn't even know who Jeff Lewis was, but
what? You did not watch Flipping Out?
No. Well, at first I thought he was the guy from Survivor.
Oh my God.
What's that guy's name? Is his name Jeff Lewis too?
No, his name is Jeff Probst, I think. Probst?
That's who I thought it was at first. And I was like, oh my God, his lips look like deflated Lisa Rinna. And then I realized he was from Soul and Sunset or whatever. But
oh my God, he is literally Flipping Out was like one of Bravo's first like big reality shows.
Oh, Flipping Out. Yeah, see, I wasn't a fan of him. And I didn't think his takes were, I was like, what is the point of him being on here? But either or, apparently it read awkward to a lot of people to the point that Jeff reached out to Bethany after the show and apologized because, I don't know, I guess he gave a look or something like that and he wanted to apologize to her because it wasn't that serious. I also think people coming for Bethany doing the Rewives show like is insane. Like, how are you gonna, just because she doesn't want to be on a show does not take away from the fact that this was an experience of her life and that she's one of the number one housewives. Sorry, I put her within the top 3 personally.
100%. I agree.
I mean, say what you want to say about it, Luann, whoever else, like it's giving bitter. And I fuck with Bethany, and you're just keep putting money in her pocket. Also, someone who's trying to put money in their pocket is Jamal Bryant. So Did you hear about this? Basically, he is trying to apply to get a license so that he can turn his church. Okay, he's not going to turn the church. He's still going to have the church. But on the property of the church, he wants to build a weed farm. And he thinks that this will bring jobs and it will entice young black men to want to be a part of the church. And I'm just like, first of all, this is sounding crazy. And you go... on like so many levels sounds crazy. And like, are you gonna get like tax breaks off of this? Like, I just went deep with the thinking of this, and I just am like, because I know we're gonna get him on Potomac in the next episode, so I'm just like, Giselle, run and stop.
I mean, she can't run. The babies are still in the house, but they will be out soon. But I just, like, I want to give the benefit of the doubt, like, okay, you know what? If it's legal, it is, there could be a space where you have like a compound, not just where you're growing it, but like where people are actually studying and like learning about what's actually positive about the usage of marijuana. And not just for recreation.
Boom. I don't know what's happening, if Courtney's on here or not. We just gonna boom, bring Courtney in. Boom.
The stream said good night.
Yeah, because I guess there's a storm happening right outside right now. And also it's like, it's been 3 hours. But I was like, they should just call that place the Burning Bush, and we can call it the end of the day at that.
Not the bush.
Well, that's all we have for our Housewives tea. I mean, obviously this was a long episode, but we just had to get that to y'all because when I seen them 4 episodes. So take your time and then come back here and let us know what you guys are thinking about Real Housewives of Miami. Courtney, where can everyone follow you?
Same place, all over social media at Stuart Starlet.
Boom, you guys can hit me up at DJ Jesse J. Hit us up at Next Mood Swing across all social media platforms. Hit that like and subscribe button. Till next time, peace.